Yeah! Woo! Happy Wednesday to those who celebrate. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you. And we are thrilled today. Two specific reasons why. One, we're giving away a pair of tickets to see Billy Joel and Sting.
Yes.
They're playing Petco Park together on April 13th of 2024. We're giving away those tickets today. You're going to have to be listening for a sounder. The sounder is going to be a mashup clip of Sting and Billy Joel playing different jams. We're going to just hit that at some point during the show. Could happen anytime. You could go to livenation.com for ticket and info. But you can certainly win a pair of tickets on this show. So we're thrilled about that. The other thing we're thrilled about, guys, Kevin Acey is going to be on the show today.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that Jerk Bob Melvin's gone.
Yeah.
No. Kevin, well, actually, yes, that is also true.
Not a jerk, though.
Bob Melvin is gone. However, Kevin Acey, any excuse to have Kevin Acey on is a great excuse.
Okay, part of me was really excited yesterday when I saw Kevin break the news. Like, I'm sad Bob Melvin's gone. That's just my personal opinion. But when Kevin put that news out on Twitter yesterday, I got really excited because that meant I could text Kevin and ask him to come on the show.
Yeah.
If you noticed, under Kevin's tweet, there was 4 different people adding our Twitter account saying, hey, please have Kevin on tomorrow.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Listen, as soon as we saw it, we thought the same thing, listeners. So if you listen to this show, and thank you for listening to this show, if you're streaming us right now on the free iHeartRadio app, or if you're listening some other way, download the free iHeartRadio app, share a link with a buddy. We certainly appreciate it. Best way to support the show. Okay, so Kevin Acey going to join us. You mentioned it there. Bob Melvin's gone, guys. Bob Melvin is no longer the manager for your San Diego Padres.
That escalated quickly.
I would argue yes.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who put this in the rundown, but the first 1, 2, 3, 4 words in our rundown today under 6 a.m. That's intense.
That was me.
Attaboy.
That was I was a little bit perturbed.
There's some piss and vinegar in those
Well,
words.
okay, so yeah, I mean, because I feel like 2 weeks ago there was, the dog and pony show, the Zoom call. AJ Preller comes out, talks to the media, and says, "Hey, look, Bob Melvin's our guy. This is what we're doing moving forward." The day before that meeting, I think it was the day before, was the statement that was released. And when we read the statement, our gut went, "Well, that's it. Bob Melvin's gone." So then when they came out with the Zoom call and said, "No, you guys are idiots. Don't read into that. That's not what we're saying. We're saying that he's our guy. We're going to fix everything. We're going to move forward. It's going to be done. It's going to be great." It was day before yesterday that we heard Bob Melvin is talking to the Giants. And then
he's their
yesterday's
number 1
gone.
candidate.
Yeah. Okay. So you're going to tell me that when you go interview for any job, let alone managing a baseball team, a Major League Baseball team, that one interview, you're done? No. You've been talking. So what you threw out here in the Zoom call, in my personal opinion, was smoke and mirrors. And I get it. I get what you're trying to do. But another instance where you're not quite being honest with us.
So what I hate about this whole thing, and TD, you're 100% right, and also it's your fault for trusting AJ Preller. You never should do that.
But I love him.
Let that be a lesson to you. But the thing I get most pissed off about with all this, and I'm sure a lot of Padre fans feel the same way, is that it feels like now that we know everything we know over the last 2 weeks, this was AJ Preller and the Padres trying not to fire Bob Melvin because that would cost them a couple $1 million in a buyout. So now they were waiting for somebody to come and take Bob Melvin off their hands. And the Giants were the first person to be damned that it's in the same division, which still is asinine to me. Maybe that's more of an NFL thing, but in baseball, it feels the same way. In fact, you play them more than you do in football. And it's this whole thing kind of makes me sick and gives me the ick, and I hate every part about it. And Bob Melvin is not the one who deserved to go.
Well, let me explain to you how I see this going, because this would just be the most Padre thing to happen. It doesn't matter who you talk to today or throughout the offseason or when the season begins and we start hearing from the new manager during spring training times, or we hear from the Padres beat writers who, again, Kevin Acey will be joining us on this show. He covers the Padres for the San Diego Union Tribune. He's an insider here on the Padres, covering the Padres for San Diego Sports 760. Even he will probably because you get to know these people. You start relationships with these people. You start to trust these people in some way. And there may even be some good times for the Padres this upcoming season. But at some point, this will come back and bite this organization. It will.
You mean when the Giants win a World Series under Bob Melvin?
Well, it'll be that. Or it'll be the Padres and the Giants coming down the wire to see who wins the division at some point, or a wild card position in the NL or something. And the Giants will slightly edge out the Padres. And then everybody is going to turn back and look at AJ Preller and go, see what you did?
Oh, yeah. And it's going to be the time that Bob Melvin, you see him toss an iPad back into the dugout, and he rolls with his gut because he knows every weakness of every batter that's walking up to the plate.
It's just, to me, it's a very Padres way to handle business. And only people who live in San Diego, who have been following this team for as long as, well, shoot, I mean, there are super fans here. There are generational fans here, but I've been living here for a decade, and I've been following this team since I moved here. I get how this works. It's very easy to see if like they're almost telegraphing their punches. It feels like this is going to harm the Padres in some way, and we're just all waiting for the rake in the grass to smack us in the face.
It does have that feeling. Now, on the flip side of it, if there are problems in the front office that have to be resolved, and they can't be resolved unless there's a separation, then you have to separate. I mean, it's not going to work if there's problems. What the hang up I have is, who the hell is going to step in here and be better than Bob Melvin?
All right, TD. So here's the problem. Okay. Everything we've heard so far is the same names over and over again. Ryan Flaherty, who is on the Padres coaching staff already. Every name we've heard is someone who's already in the Padres organization. And I think I know why. It's because Bob Melvin is one of the most respected managers across Major League Baseball, among other managers. If he's saying that this is unfixable, if he's trying to get his way out of San Diego, which I think it's clear he was, who the hell is going to take this job that's a big name? No, we're going to get somebody else, another version of Jace Tingler, another version of Andy Green that AJ Preller can puppet master to his heart desires. And that is bad for the San Diego Padres.
Okay, so we've seen that story before. Andy Green, Jace Tingler, Bob Melvin obviously broke that mold. He did not want to do business as business was being done here. He did not want to be a Manchurian candidate for AJ Preller, a puppet to his puppet master. And so obviously that relationship fell apart. The bigger question is, who inside the organization is best equipped than to handle the level of ego you have inside that clubhouse? Who can walk through those doors and control Manny Machado? Who can walk through those doors and control Fernando Tatis Jr.? Who can walk through those doors and control Xander Bogaerts, right? So you're telling me a World Series champ at shortstop is going to listen to a manager when it's his first day on the job? It's
going to be a first-time manager,
when he's been in El Paso, riding the buses with the minor league team. You're telling me Xander Bogaerts is going to take advice from that guy? Xander Bogaerts is a champion. Manny Machado, who's on his next gigantic contract, who when he finishes his career, he's going to clear something nearing $700 million. He's going to listen to a guy who's been playing against the AAA affiliate for the Angels. That's the guy you're going to bring in, and Manny Machado's going to have respect for. Fernando Tatis Jr., who has a father who played 12 years at the Major League Baseball level, who lives, breathes, and drinks baseball all season long, to the point where you can't even peel him off a Dominican Winter League ball club with injury concerns because he doesn't want to let his dad or his countrymen down in the offseason. You're going to tell that guy what to do? By the way, who also has a statue contract? Get real. Bob Melvin was the best chance you had at that, and you let him walk out the door to an NL West division rival.
Suddenly my feelings on this are changing, because I'm thinking they're going to need to bring someone in to be kind of the scapegoat, the guy they can really pin the problems on, beat him down for a season.
I'll be that guy.
That's us. We could manage the team.
The three of us.
Yes.
Where they
Some
failed.
call us a triple threat.
They call us triple. I've heard that thrown out there.
It's the customer service that's key, guys.
Yeah. 5-star?
It's 5-star. You guys don't realize that's the mistake. They need a three-headed monster in the dugout. They need three guys who truly do not know what they're doing to be told what to do and do it poorly.
Honestly, that would be probably best case scenario.
It would be a lot more fun and funny.
It would be hilarious.
Post-game press conferences would be awesome. That's all true.
Yeah, a lot of nipples.
Why do so many nipples?
Always wear tuxedos?
At this point,
so inappropriate.
Why doesn't AJ Preller just come down to the front office, throw on a uniform, and be the manager himself? Stop hiding behind people. If this is all you and everyone seems to think it is, and I'm sure most likely 99% sure it is all AJ Preller. If it's all you, come on down to the dugout, bud. Let's see it.
They need a people person, right?
AJ's the opposite of that.
It's like, well, that's my point. They need somebody like, I'll be perfectly honest with you. If he had the chops, like if he actually knew how to manage at the major league level, Jace Tingler would be a perfect manager to work with a guy like AJ Preller.
Very personable.
Extremely personable.
In fact, I really like talking to Jace Tingler.
Same. Like that is a person who, it's the classic line during a political race. Now that's a guy I could have a beer with.
Well, he's a good dad. I mean, he had
smiley
his kids
fella,
yeah,
in great shape,
handsome guy,
look the part, right? Everything. You just check a ton of boxes with Jace Tingler.
He just didn't know what he was doing.
Exactly. Bob Melvin knew too much. See, the reason why Bob Melvin didn't work here, part of it is AJ Preller. Actually, a large part, in my opinion, in my estimation, goes to AJ Preller. Yeah, I mean, if you want to put a percentage on it.
I do.
But I will.
But AJ, if you're listening, we'd love to fill out an application.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Or I would love to talk to you, man. Give us a call.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Talk us down here.
Yeah. Honestly,
I want to know the thought process.
I would just like any level of honesty from the front office. I would like to feel, look, to your point, Travis, and in all honesty, I appreciate what you said, and I sort of feel like you, TD, you to me encapsulate what a lot of fans, I think, felt when they heard that press conference. But I've spoken to general managers who will level with you in the locker room, and then what they say publicly is completely different. And so I live that life as a professional athlete. I know how much smoke they'll blow. When I heard AJ Preller, and I said it on air the very next day, when I heard AJ Preller during that Zoom call talk to us all, like, yeah, everything's hunky-dory here. Like, hey, I mean, Bob Melvin's our manager. I was like,
it's our guy.
Yeah, right.
He was lying through his teeth the whole time.
Right. Because the truth is what we already know, that Bob Melvin was tired of being micromanaged, that Bob Melvin was tired of having AJ Preller looming, looking over his shoulder, and the outcomes are the outcomes. You can't let a manager in his 60s, you cannot try to hem him in that way. He's not going to take that level of management.
Loyal friend of the show and diehard listener, also Derek Togerson, just texted me. Said, I got a name for you guys. Dusty Baker. His contract is up. He wants out of Houston. That would be a name that could do what you said, Rich. But Dusty Baker, I don't think would want to take this job.
He'll be the next Bob Melvin.
Didn't he just retire?
Well, I don't think he may have retired and then came back, and then he was with the Astros after they had to fire everyone because they were cheating.
Hey,
no, World Series.
I literally, hang on.
But
I thought I saw yesterday that he said, I'm retiring.
Dusty, and listen, the problem, okay, say he wasn't. Say he said that and say he decided, you know what, never mind, I want to come out of retirement.
This wouldn't be the job he takes.
I don't think so either. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. He's calling it a career after an incredible 26 years.
Yeah, thanks, Derek.
Well, no. But listen.
Wait. We can coax him out.
Hang on. That's my point.
Yeah.
That's my point.
That would be rad, though.
It would be very cool. I would have the same feeling about that as, well, actually, no. Hang on. Let me amend this. I would feel similarly, but not the same excitement that I felt about Bob Melvin, and here's why. Obviously, Dusty Baker is a name that may cut through a little bit more than Bob Melvin, but after
he's won a World Series.
Well, yeah, I mean, but look at Bob. I mean, he's managed for years and years and years at the highest level of baseball. Like, if you want to talk about having a credentialed manager walk through your doors, that's Bob Melvin. You could say the very same thing about Dusty Baker. He's won a recent World Series. My point being, I would be more excited for a Bob Melvin back then, and here's the reason why. Because I didn't have the information I have now that it didn't work with Bob Melvin. So if Dusty Baker walks through the door, do we really feel like he's saving the situation? It's going to be the same thing that just happened with Bob Melvin. It is going to be the same exact thing because he's going to run into a situation with AJ Preller where he goes, yeah, I mean, well, that's not for me, AJ. I mean, I just do things differently. And AJ's going to say, well, no, this is the way we do it here. And then it's going to result in the same mess that we had with Bob Melvin.
Well, we've been talking baseball, but we haven't mentioned the fact that the Arizona Diamondbacks are headed to the freaking World Series. Incredible. A team that was really supposed to suck.
Biggest congrats here goes out to my father-in-law who sells beer in the Arizona area. They're about to have a record week next week.
Hold on. Is Arizona back in now, or are they all of a sudden into baseball? Because literally 2 games ago, you were buying tickets for $9 to go see them play the Phillies.
They thought they had no chance in that series. Now they're in the World Series. I think it changes a little bit.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
Yeah, either that or we're going to head out to Arizona and see a World Series game for $12. Yeah.
The beers, honestly, are more expensive than the tickets. I mean, think about
Absolutely
that.
Incredible. But they beat the Phillies last night 4-2. I think that was the final as I wrote that down. No reports of any part of Philadelphia burning down last night.
No.
That only happens when they win.
Well, I mean, sort of. I feel like I've seen it both ways, but you could tell that fan base was dejected at the end of that game.
Did they grease the lamp poles?
They might have
I'm
greased
sure
the
they
lamp
did.
poles.
They
You
have
remember
to.
they had to do that for the Eagles celebration?
Yeah,
They did it for the NLCS last year. when
that's
they beat the Phillies.
because of the Eagles celebration.
Right.
Yeah. So Arizona Diamondbacks, look, no matter which way you sliced it, it wasn't going to be good after the Rangers got in, because the Rangers, who have Bruce Bochy managing them to his next World Series, Bruce Bochy could have been the Padres manager. I mean,
for the last 2 decades.
as recently as this last hire, or before Jace Tingler was hired, or potentially even before Andy Green. But you let him go to San Francisco. What was that? 12 years ago now. He went off to rack off 3 World Series championships with the Giants.
I think it's more than 12 years ago.
Oh, yeah, it might be.
I think it's been like 20 years.
2003. So it might be 20 years. Maybe. No. It was after. Shoot, when was that? 2008? Because it was after the run in 2006. Maybe it was 2008. Look that up. Yeah. It's been a while. That's for damn sure. But Bruce Bochy won 3 World Series with the Giants, and then he's going back with the Rangers.
2006.
There it is. 2006. And so that one stings. And then either way, Philadelphia or the Diamondbacks making the World Series on the National League side, that stings because the Diamondbacks are in the same division, and the Philadelphia Phillies just knocked it out in last year's championship series.
Yeah, pick your poison.
So, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, it just sucks.
Yeah.
And the Padres missed the playoffs altogether.
but who are you rooting for now?
No one.
It's just
I'm rooting for my father-in-law to make a lot of money this week.
Okay, all right.
Bochy, I'm rooting for Bochy. I'm rooting for the Rangers.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel that way too. However, it's also like, yeah, I mean, if the Diamondbacks win, it's kind of cool.
I mean,
guess.
hopefully
a
that
team
lights
they're not supposed to
little
win.
bit of a fire under the Padres' asses if the Diamondbacks win. You know what I mean?
You never want your division rivals to win.
But you look at these 2 rosters, and you're like, the Padres roster is way better.
Right.
Oh yeah,
Which is the reason
Without
why
a
you
doubt.
do not want the Diamondbacks to win a World Series.
that is actually it's a good point.
This
Great
would
point.
be a disaster. I mean, it feels bad enough already.
Well, and knowing
Salt in the wound.
the way this postseason has played out, like the big name teams, the Dodgers and the Astros, both getting knocked out, you're like, oh, if there was a year for the Padres to win a World Series, it was probably this one.
Right.
Mhm.
Sorry, is this making anyone feel better?
No.
Mm-mm.
Look, there's some fun to be had, right? I mean, we could like wax poetic maybe for a little while about who the next manager is going to be for the Padres, and who knows, maybe it'll be like a super exciting name, and maybe they'll
Like Ariana Grande.
Yes, it might be pop singer Ariana Grande, who's going to be the featured host on SNL this weekend. No, I mean, but like, who knows? Like, I mean, the world's our oyster right now, guys. Let's turn those frowns upside down.
Yeah.
We could get we could get a great manager.
Kick that
Absolutely.
can down the road a little bit more.
I mean,
AJ.
come on. There's so many managers out there.
What GM has ever been
good.
able to hire this many managers?
This has to be a first. I mean, what's so look, here's the only thing I can say. We're too far from shore, I think, to make a change without blowing this whole thing up. I think the reason why Peter Seidler is holding out hope that AJ Preller can get this right is A, because 2 years ago, this is a team that appeared in the NLCS, and he's hopeful that that wasn't a one-off, that could be something that can consistently happen here in San Diego. And maybe B, AJ Preller convinced him that Bob Melvin actually got in the way last season. Okay, so I that's the only reason why this makes sense is, okay, AJ, I'll give you one more year. But if this doesn't work, you're gone. We're going to have to get rid of you because there's only so many second chances you get. So
Rich,
that's
said,
the only way it makes sense.
Rich, we said those same exact words before when Bob Melvin got hired.
Well, I'm telling you from Peter, I'm with you. I'm tired of it, but I'm also.
We said those same words when Jace Tingler was hired. If this doesn't work, AJ's done.
I'm also. Well, no, actually, I never said that. I said we should stick with AJ Preller. And honestly, I said that with the hiring of Bob Melvin. I was like, see, this is the reason why they finally made a good decision at manager. Look, I'm out on AJ Preller, but I'm also well aware, and I've said this before, that if you move on from AJ Preller, dark days may be ahead because Peter Seidler may be convinced that, yeah, the reason why this isn't working, the next general manager, president of baseball operations, walks through the doors, says because the clubhouse culture is all wrong. So we're going to need to trade some of these high-priced talents, and we're going to have to try to get back some of what we traded away to get them.
One text here from the 619 that we got to squeeze in before break. Hey, guys, Tommy Pham is in the World Series.
Right. Right. That is... He is with the Diamondbacks.
You know what, though, Rich? I mean, you've played on several sports teams professionally. I mean, not okay. As a coach, if you have a fantastic team, you're full of stars, things aren't working in the front office. If you replace the coach, is there a build back time that you have to work with that coach, or can a coach just come in and all of a sudden fix a team?
You can have a coach who's a paradigm shifter. You can have a guy who all of a sudden has the ear of the players, but it has to come with results. Like if the players go out there and they start playing and losing, or it feels like more of the same leftover from last year, or if they feel like we're winning in spite of this manager instead of because of, then it's not going to work. It's all kind of like false prophecy. But yeah, it happen? Yeah, it absolutely can. Sometimes a new voice in a locker room or a clubhouse can stir life into the lifeless. And I don't know if that's necessarily the way to characterize this clubhouse. I think there's just more discord than anything else.
I just wonder if when you talk about if you separate from AJ Preller, there could be dark days ahead. Are there inevitable dark days ahead without Bob Melvin?
It's very possible. It's highly possible that it could get worse from here. But it's also possible, again, the opposite can be true too then. You know, we just don't know, and that's the unfortunate reality of this. At least we had a known quantity at manager when Bob Melvin walked through the door. We're again adrift without a manager. Padres on their, fifth managerial search in 6 years. So good luck to us.
Togerson responded saying that saying you're retiring is a great way to get away from a place. Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis, Xander Bogaerts are great reasons to unretire. I responded by saying true, but AJ Preller is a good reason to stay retired. And Derek said, can't argue with
that. well, there you have it.
Yeah.
Okay, coming up next, we have to get into the NFL a little bit here. We will steer back into the Padres minutia with Kevin Acee in the 7 o'clock hour. But first, Travis.
Yeah, you know what? I wouldn't mind retiring just because I'd like to have a few weekends off here just to go get lost a little bit like I do when I'm driving around in my GMC truck. In fact, my wife and I went for a little trail ride this weekend. Went exploring some back roads, tried to get lost like I was saying. Look, I love it. I bought a Canyon ATV. I take the thing anywhere. I'll lock it into low 4, crawl in and out of whatever I want, through the mud, through the ruts. it's a good time. That's why I knew when it was time for me to get a new truck. I did a lot of research because I've owned a couple GMCs in the past. So I knew it was going to be a good time to get another one. I love them. They're just too good. If you're out looking for the perfect truck, you need to head over to North County Buick Cadillac GMC. They have the biggest inventory of trucks I could find. When I was searching for a truck, I noticed, man, the lots just don't have any trucks on them. They don't have the one I'm looking for. North County Buick Cadillac GMC has your truck. They're amazing. And I'm not the only one saying it. North County Buick Cadillac GMC voted San Diego's best domestic auto dealer in San Diego by the San Diego Union Tribune Readers Poll. And now through Halloween, the GM over there, Jamie, and his team offering exceptional savings on GMC models like a 2023 Sierra 1500 SLE, $5,000 off MSRP. Incredible. Or maybe you're looking for a little more spacious vehicle, one that has more seats, one you can haul the family around in, a 2023 Yukon. Go sit inside one of these things. It's like you're sitting in the future of cars. It's absolutely beautiful. It is fully powered. I mean, the tons of power when you step on the gas, all kinds of performance, advanced technology, first-class design. That's the GMC Yukon. Visit North County Buick Cadillac GMC at the heart of the Escondido Auto Mall or online at ncbcg.com. North County Buick Cadillac GMC, exceeding your expectations every time.
All right, coming up next, heading into week 8 of the NFL season, which teams are sailing, which teams are flailing. We'll give you our full power rankings coming up next, and we've got some surprises on the list.
Are there some surprises with the NFL power rankings? We'll break them down next.
Oh, man. Oh, it's a rough morning. This update presented by DraftKings Fantasy Sports. Starting off in the MLB postseason, D-backs head into the World Series. They take down the Phillies last night in Game 7, 4-2. World Series gets started on Friday at 5:30 in Texas. Rangers D-backs will play Game 1. NBA last night, Lakers lose to the Nuggets 119-107. Nikola Jokic had 29 points in his return, and the Suns take down the Warriors 108-104. Devin Booker drops 32 on the night. UFC legend Jon Jones, he was slated to defend his heavyweight championship on November 11th. However, fight is now off after Jones injured himself in training yesterday. And in the NFL, trade deadline just days away. Titan stars Derrick Henry, DeAndre Hopkins could be two of the biggest names that are on the move at the deadline. Check out what DraftKings has to offer this season with code SPORTS, because life's more fun when you're in on the action. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Age and eligibility restrictions apply. Void where prohibited. See DraftKings.com for details.
Big Rashidi and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760, and you want to keep it locked in here because at any moment it could happen. You could hear the Billy Joel Sting mashup, and that will be your cue to call. Caller number, is it 6?
6.
Caller number 6, and you will win those tickets. They're going to be at Petco Park, April 13th.
You're good at this.
Okay.
You nailed it.
Yeah,
You're
it's
like,
not written down.
you're
So-
a professional. And that's what I love about you.
I mean, there was a lot of confidence behind that. And I'm just going to say that because I also do the afternoons over on the FM, that it's a little bit different of the copy there. There's a little bit different of the winner numbers. So, I just got to keep it all straight.
Yeah.
And I'm not good at it.
And I was going to say, and that's really tough. Like, that is 2 separate 3-sentence paragraphs to
my
remember.
God. Listen to me. Listen, that's way too much to ask
Oh,
for.
are you kidding me? I mean, like, God, the military always complaining about how difficult their work is. These police officers and firefighters and civil servants, have they ever tried to keep 2 sentences straight?
Caller number 6, caller number 10, caller number 6, caller number 10. How am I supposed to work under these conditions?
So we have like a really quickly changing landscape in the NFL. All of a sudden, it feels like teams that you were trusting have completely vanquished your trust, and teams that you really kind of were thinking, yeah, they're competitive. They're all of a sudden become like, I'll give you a perfect example, and because it happened in the same game. The Detroit Lions and the Baltimore Ravens, like, all of a sudden it was a role reversal.
Yeah, flip flop.
Yeah.
So I was listening to Colin yesterday, and he brought up something about that game that you're talking about, where everyone is now out on the Lions. All of a sudden, everyone's mega in on the Baltimore Ravens. The first time any defense plays against Lamar Jackson, they generally get roasted. And that's what happened to the Detroit Lions. This is the first time in this iteration they've played against Lamar Jackson, and they got absolutely toasted. And it's because he's so different from every other quarterback across the NFL.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think it's the first time all of those players have played against Lamar Jackson. It's not the first time your coordinators or coaches. I don't really buy that as much. I look at it more simply put as that defense has a lot of injuries in their secondary. That defense relied a great deal on pass rush and Aiden Hutchinson, and teams that they face don't rely. Teams that they face don't have as mobile of a quarterback or rely on their quarterback to be as mobile as Lamar Jackson. But Lamar Jackson had a huge passing game against the Detroit Lions. Like, you would have expected the exact opposite. You would expect him to run all over the Detroit Lions. That's not how it went. I mean, he threw the football in that game as good as we've ever seen Lamar Jackson throw it. So I think it's a mischaracterization to say, like, the Detroit Lions are that much worse than they were a week before. I think they're just hurt. I think they're just banged up. And I think for that reason, they fall down in my power rankings. But I don't think it's because they're a bad defense. I think it's because they're a hurt defense.
Right. I get that. Another team that, I have lost some faith in, lost some confidence in, the Buffalo Bills. I mean, they were a team that I would have put probably in the top 5. Now, I mean, I guess they're in the top 10. But
they lost a lot of faith with ESPN too. They dropped them all the way to number 10 after being up in their top 5 most of the season. The Bills are a fun one, man, and they got Thursday Night Football this week, and everything that we're saying right now could be flipped right on its head when Josh Allen comes out and performs great in primetime. Like, it's so funny in the NFL this time of year because this is when overreactions really start to fly. I mean, week 1 and week 2 are when overreactions are at their highest. But right now, when teams are in the middle of their season and injuries are starting to pile up, none of these teams are as bad as they look. None of these teams are as good as they look.
I don't know if I'm going to laud the Bills, even if they demolish the Buccaneers on Thursday night. Like, I think what would change it is if they go on the road to Cincinnati in 2 weeks and they get a big win on the road against the Bengals, who are a team that have put together some decent weeks of football. I think the Bills are, unfortunately, one of those teams on wobbly footing after Brian Daboll left. I don't think they look like the same team without him as an offensive coordinator and a voice in the headset for Josh Allen as they did prior to or after him leaving and becoming the head coach of the New York Giants. It looks really off. And it's not every game. I mean, certainly they've had convincing wins, beating the Dolphins at home weeks ago now. It feels like forever ago, though, because in the interim, they've lost to the Jags and the Patriots.
And almost lost to the Giants, right?
That was a 14-9 final.
In primetime.
Yeah.
That's where a lot of the stuff gets stuck in your head, too, is those standalone games, which is why I'm saying this week when you see the Buffalo Bills. And by the way, Baker Mayfield and the Bucs, they have a really good record this year. The only team they've beaten with a good defense is the Saints. Other than that, every time Baker's faced a good defense, he's kind of struggled. So when you look at this matchup, the Bills do have a good defense. Josh Allen's been the inconsistent part this season. I feel like this sets up perfectly for a Bills redemption arc.
Yeah, I mean, look, they have the talent. Just for whatever reason, it hasn't really come together. Whatever, however it plays out. But another team that I have big questions about, that I had a much stronger feeling of, at least at the start of the season, the Chargers. I mean, the Chargers. Yeah, I mean, what? How do you have any confidence in this team?
Yeah. The Chargers have disappeared off the map in my mind's eye. Justin Herbert's too hurt. This defense is still porous. I don't trust them in big moments mainly because of Brandon Staley, but Justin Herbert in the fourth quarter has, especially since the injury, I will give him that excuse, has looked poor. So I have zero trust or faith in the Chargers.
They're 2-4. I mean, you could basically count them out right now.
The Dallas Cowboys are an interesting team to me. The Dallas Cowboys are one of those teams coming into the season very much like the Chargers, who had a roster where you go, oh yeah, the Cowboys could legitimately contend for a Super Bowl. And they came roaring out the gates against both New York teams. If you remember, they started with the Giants and the Jets, and they beat the living dog out of both of them. And then they lost to the Cardinals.
I think did they score 70 points in 2 games?
Yeah. And we're just like, the Cardinals?
Yeah.
Josh Dobbs? I mean, he was straightened up, balling out on cats out there. And then they followed up with a win against the Patriots where everybody goes, okay, all right, the Arizona Cardinals game, that was a one-off. And Belichick, I think that was his second loss. And speaking of 70, teams in consecutive weeks hung 70 points on a Belichick's defense. So people were like, all right, the Dallas Cowboys are back. But then they get absolutely de-pantsed by the San Francisco 49ers. And so panic struck again. They find a way to win against the Chargers before taking this bye week. They come back to host the Rams next weekend or this upcoming weekend. But come Sunday, if they roll their helmets out there and find a way to lose this football game, to me, the Cowboys will face the most severe drop, maybe outside the Chargers, of the season. Like they will be in the middle of the pack where they deserve to be, because 3 losses with this roster this early in the season, unacceptable.
And unfortunately, the Rams are tough. They're not a great football team, but they're tough to beat right now. A team you mentioned, Rich, that we have to start having questions about is my team, San Francisco 49ers. Like 2 losses in a row to the Browns. And who'd they just lose to? It was more embarrassing. I've already blocked it out of my head.
Oh, Vikings.
Jeez Louise. But anyway, the 49ers, like, injuries are a big part of this, but you have to have questions about them now. And unfortunately for me, you have to have questions about their quarterback now.
Gosh, that Cowboys win. They were 5-0.
They were so good.
I mean, you were riding high, Ben.
They were consensus number 1 across every power rankings in the world. And now, of course, who's
Except mine? I had the Chiefs.
I know you did. And guess who's number 1 now in every power rankings?
Look, You can't argue with Andy Reid and that mustache.
It's the Kansas City
can't.
Chiefs.
You
Across the board, everyone has the Chiefs at number 1 right now. They're riding. They
Yeah.
haven't lost again. Patrick, by the way, is before this week is over. So like, you're probably going to see some pieces moving here. DeAndre Hopkins, Derrick Henry are the big names. Could one of them land with the Chiefs?
It's very possible. I would doubt Derrick Henry. I mean, they're not a running back reliant team.
And they love Pacheco.
They love Pacheco. They also have McKinnon. They also have Clyde Edwards-Helaire. They don't need
I
help
love
there.
Pacheco.
I mean, yeah.
So do I. That dude runs violent.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say Derrick Henry. Hopkins, the problem with Hopkins is he hasn't looked like Hopkins in years. So if you're paying attention to the film, I mean, yeah, maybe you could blame the quarterbacks, but I don't know.
He's been with some bad quarterbacks since Kyler Murray got hurt.
Yeah.
And he did look at that first season with Kyler Murray. He looked really good. And then drama started in Arizona. And we don't really know what happened.
He also was suspended for performance enhancing drugs.
So you can't do that?
Yeah. No, apparently you can't. I think
it's wild that he's the one that gets suspended. One of like the most wiry dudes in the NFL, and he's the one that got suspended for roids.
I don't know what he was taking. It could be Adderall for all I know. I
Is
mean,
that not allowed?
Black tar heroin.
Not without a prescription. Yeah. Black tar heroin. That's a performance enhancing drug. He was so relaxed.
He was prescribed by his doctor, Dre.
Oh my gosh. All right, really quick before we scram here, we get back to baseball. The Good Feet store. If you are struggling with any knee pain, hip pain, back pain, ankle pain, foot pain, for crying out loud, get to the Good Feet store. What they do is they measure you, they balance test you, they form fit these arch supports to go into your shoes, right? Any shoes. I mean, shoot, I wear them with slippers. I wear them with flip-flops. You can wear them with any shoes that you wear. It doesn't matter. And what they do is immediately start contouring to your feet and showing you the way that you're supposed to walk and show you the way that you're supposed to carry yourself posture-wise. And all of a sudden you start to feel that ankle pain or that foot pain, that knee pain or hip pain or back pain melt away. That's been my experience with these. I mean, they're a small change, but they are so meaningful for your life. You got to go to these trusted experts because they measure arch. Apparently you have 4 arches in each of your feet. I had no idea until I walked through the door, but they scientifically measure this thing and they make sure that your comfort is key. And you walk out of there that day and you feel better on the other side. A week later, you'll get a phone call from them. They'll check in with you to make sure everything's fitting correctly, everything feels right. You can go back in and they can obviously help you out if there's anything a little wonky. But my experience was great because a week later they called me and I'm just like, who dis? And they were just like, it's the Good Feet store. I'm like, yeah, I don't need to talk to you. Everything's great. Thank you. I got off the phone with them and I meant it. Everything has been great since wearing these arch supports. And I want that for you too if you're struggling with any sort of joint pain. So call the Good Feet store, set up an appointment, go to goodfeet.com to check out the nearest location to you and get yourself feeling better fast. Okay, coming up next, back to baseball. If you missed it, Bob Melvin is no longer the Padres manager. Who should fill those shoes? We discuss next. So if you're listening to that song, don't call yet, okay? We will be playing a mashup between Billy Joel and Sting later in the show. 844-570-1360. That's the number to dial when you hear the Sting Billy Joel mashup. But they're playing an April 13th show over at Petco Park. That's coming up next spring. Tickets are flying off the shelves right now at livenation.com, but you could get your hands on tickets there. More information, or just keep waiting to hear a Billy Joel Sting mashup and then be caller number 6. You'll win those tickets.
That's right. That's right. And also, we still have a chance for you to win $1,000 that you can do that every single day. Just listen for the keyword, then enter it at sportssd.com. It's presented by Loan Pronto. Stop paying insane rates on your credit cards. Loan Pronto can help you tap the equity in your home so you can be credit card debt-free in less than a week. LoanPronto.com. LoanPronto.com.
So the Houston Astros get bounced. Dusty Baker announces that he's calling it quits after 26 years of Major League Baseball service. And all of a sudden, Derek Togerson from NBC7 is texting our show in the 6 o'clock hour, and he's saying, we should get Dusty Baker.
Hold on. If Dusty Baker became the manager of the Padres, AJ Preller's a hero.
Okay. Yeah, I could buy that.
Or is it a lateral move?
You mean moving on from Bob Melvin into a Dusty Baker era?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. If you can convince a manager at the caliber of a Dusty Baker to manage the Padres,
It's huge.
it's huge. It's a win. And I think AJ Preller could really use a win. So if there's any way to make this happen, I would say if I'm AJ Preller, I'm trying to make it happen. However, I think our idea or our mind's eye architect or archetype for the next Padres manager is very different from what it looks like for AJ Preller.
Mm-hmm.
Like name the things, Ben Fletch, name all the things that you want in the next Padres manager.
Want 5-star customer service.
I want to level up.
There is one thing that I want from the next Padres
Yeah.
manager. It's to win a effing World Series with this team.
Okay, but give me one personality trait that you'd like to see out of the next Padres manager.
Heavy smoker.
Damn it, Travis.
The biggest thing would be Bob Melvin has the personality traits.
Okay.
A
okay.
brilliant
all right.
baseball mind.
So,
Right.
Able to
I want a guy.
respect commanded from everyone across the league. Like Bob Melvin was that person. I don't know what AJ wants in a major league manager, but Rich, you're right. It's not the archetype we have in mind.
I want a guy that's going to bring back Thirsty Thursdays.
Hmm.
I want a guy that's going to bring back Weenie Wednesdays.
Mhm.
Okay.
This is why we're not interviewing the Padres potential manager.
yeah.
What?
See, I think this would work like with the state college spikes, like the AA affiliate for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
listen, guys, hear me out. Pinball night.
Right.
Okay.
Camp Stove Mondays. Everybody bring your camp stove to the stadium and cook weenies over an open flame.
Okay,
Listen,
I thought of
we're
the
going to
word.
sell propane for 49 cents a gallon. It's going to be huge.
I thought of the word. And this is probably not what's going to happen, but scary.
You want a scary manager.
Yes, I want the players in the clubhouse to be scared. I want fans to even be a little scared. It's time for bully ball to make its way back.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
He's not scary. He's soft. Yeah, hear that, The Rock?
Wait,
I smell
I'm
what
sorry.
you're cooking, and it's soft.
Did you just
Man.
say that The Rock is soft?
Yeah, he's a little bodied boy.
What?
More of a
You're a little bodied boy.
yeah. Actually,
Yeah, I mean,
we need to comment on this. We got a text message this morning, and I know we're going to be giving a lot of love to SD Fat Loss throughout the show. And look, they're sponsored the show. However, I have to point out that Ben has reached the milestone that I think when all of us together got on scales in studio, nobody would have believed he would have reached 230 pounds. You're 230 pounds, 230 on the scale.
You're about to tip this thing into the 220s, which I don't know if Ben Fletcher has seen a 220 since like sophomore year of high school.
Maybe, yeah.
When people were
College.
when people were chanting your name.
Fletcher. I'll be honest. I was doing that chant this morning all by myself
Wow.
because I got on that scale, and
You're
guys,
sick
Of course you were.
I didn't believe it the first time I stepped on the scale because I haven't seen that number in a really long time. So I got off and then I got back on it. It was exactly the same, 230.9. That is a number that I didn't think was possible until SDFatLoss.com came into our lives, and they came in like a beautiful phoenix rising from the ashes. All of us have shed so much weight. Our feathers are gone. and we all feel fantastic. If you're like us and you've tried every diet out there, but you're unable to get rid of that weight, then get on over to sdfatloss.com or call 858-665-3211. Get your free consultation today. We laugh a lot on this show, and we have a lot of fun. I'll tell you, my least favorite day that we've ever had is the day that Rich forced me to get on that scale. And I looked down and I saw 278. Dude, that was the biggest wake-up call because I don't think I'd been on a scale in over a year. Like, definitely since before I got married. And when I got on that scale and I saw 278, I knew it was time to make a change. And if you're ready to make that change too, not to brag, but I've lost 48 pounds since then. So get on the scale yourself this morning and just face the hard reality, and then get on over to sdfatloss.com. Start making a difference in your life today.
Gonna make a change for once in my life.
You're pretty good at the MJ little squeal.
Gonna feel real good. Gonna make a difference. Gonna make it right.
Give me a turkey.
All right, coming up next, we are so excited.
I wouldn't buy that turkey. It's too skinny. You want a fat turkey?
Yeah, we want a big fat plump
Big
turkey.
fat Tom.
We don't want any Jane or any Mark turkeys. We want a turkey Tom. Big old turkey. We're gonna have our favorite turkey join us coming up next. Kevin AC,
And he is a
hero.
turkey.
Oh, there's no question about it. That's a gobbler. He's gonna be joining us coming up next. We missed him so much. It's actually almost worth it that the Padres let Melvin walk just so we have a reason to bother him. And we do, and we can't wait. And Kevin AC joins us next. Kev.
Hey, how are you guys?
Good. How are you, man?
Good, dude.
Oh, this is fantastic.
Oh, we've missed this voice so much.
Oh, my
Kevin got like a weekend of vacation, and AJ was like holding my beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Not so
Hour number 2, Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. This update presented by DraftKings Fantasy Sports. We will begin in the MLB postseason. The DBacks, they're headed to the World Series after taking on the Phillies last night in Game 7, 4-2. World Series gets started on Friday at 5:30 in Texas as the Rangers and DBacks will play Game 1. NBA last night, Lakers lose to the Nuggets 119-107. Nikola Jokic, 29 points in his return, and the Suns take down the Warriors 108-104. Devin Booker drops 32. UFC legend John Jones, he was slated to defend his heavyweight title championship on November 11th. However, the fight is off after John Jones injured himself yesterday in training. And in the NFL, trade deadline just days away. Titan stars Derrick Henry and DeAndre Hopkins could be on the move. Check out what DraftKings has to offer this season with code SPORTS, because life's more fun when you're in on the action. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Age and eligibility restrictions do apply. Void where prohibited. See DraftKings.com for details.
Yeah! Woo! Happy Wednesday to those who celebrate. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you. And I mentioned to start the show that we're thrilled. We're thrilled for two reasons today, and both still stand. The first, Billy Joel Sting concert tickets. They're playing a show April 13th of next year at Petco Park. If you want tickets information, go to livenation.com or keep listening to this show for a mashup sounder of Billy Joel and Sting songs. When you hear it, call 844-570-1360, and a pair of tickets to that show will be yours. And also, we're thrilled for this.
By Kevin AC on San Diego Sports 760. Brought to you by Hamul Casino. Hamul Casino, fun above all else. Quidel Ortho, changing lives one test at a time.
Kev.
Hey, how are you guys?
Good. How are you, man?
Good, dude.
Oh, this is fantastic.
Oh, we've missed this voice so much.
Oh, my
Kevin got like a weekend of vacation, and AJ was like, hold my beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Not so fast, sir. Okay, actually, I like how this has already started. So let's just ask you the first question, Kevin. We've got to. So Bobby Melvin is now going to be managing against us in San Francisco. And by us, I mean Padres fans, the Padres loyal. And there are a lot of mixed feelings about this. But before we get to exactly what happened, how it happened, all that stuff that you know that a lot of people don't, how do you feel about this? Because I think it's weird. It's an NL West rival. You're just letting your manager walk with all the trade secrets and knowing all the weaknesses and strengths, a team that you're going to be facing, 19, 20 times next season. This doesn't feel like it makes great sense.
Yeah, I mean, there is that. And certainly, I guess, when they play the Padres, there could be an advantage. I mean, Bob Melvin is familiar. Bob Melvin, he'll probably have, Ryan Christensen with him, Matt Williams. They'll know things. But teams know so much about other teams now, and there will be a new manager with the Padres, new coaches. I'm not sure that's the thing that we will all kind of make it out to be. I'm just not sure about that. But that does not diminish in any way what you said, that it's strange. And it's bizarre, and then also in some ways it's pretty much par for the course with the drama with this organization recently. You asked me what my reaction is, and my first reaction is you know what, this is best for everyone involved. I mean, as someone who was kind of filtering constantly the issue last year, I'm gonna call it the issue, the problem, the drama. I can't get away from that word. Last year, between Bob Melvin, AJ Preller, pretty much Bob Melvin and anyone in the front office by the end. This is best for everyone.
Kev, 2 weeks ago, we were told, hey, you know what? We're hugging it out. Everything's going to be great. Everything's going to be fixed. All the problems are solved. Now here we are. He's gone. Bo Mel's gone. Were we being lied to, or did something just fall apart in 2 weeks?
I think there were a lot of assumptions made because while I don't think that you're alone there in your assessment of what you heard, what was said, that wasn't said. I mean, like I don't know. Maybe I should have been more forceful that like this is all possibly temporary, folks. But like the reality is, what were Bob Melvin and the Padres supposed to say at the end of the season, other than hey, we're staying together? I was pretty honest. I think on Darren's show in particular, I think maybe it was with Jim. I don't mean to mix those guys up, but it happens sometimes. But I thought it was, I thought it was disingenuous. Some of the things they said about there not being issues or whatever. They intimated that there weren't issues, and that was garbage. But what were they supposed to say? I mean, this might not have happened. I know as we sit here now, it's like, well, yeah, of course this is going to happen. Gabe Kapler was fired the Friday before the season ended, and we all talked about this, and, and they were all just winking at us. And to some extent, maybe they were winking at us, but, like, this was not guaranteed to happen. Bob Melvin may have been the manager, and as far as reality was, back on whatever it was, October 3rd, October 4th, Bob Melvin was the manager, and going forward was going to be the manager, and there was absolutely nothing else that the Padres or the Giants or Bob Melvin could say at that point, other than what they did. So now this always loomed over the situation, and there was going to be a resolution to what the Giants did. Maybe some people thought it was going to be quicker, but here they are. Padres have in-house candidates that virtually everyone believes are the leaders by far in this to get the job. But like, I don't think the Padres lied in that sense, or Bob Melvin did, because like they didn't really say all problems are fixed. As a matter of fact, that's why I say that this is the best thing to happen. Is no, they weren't. Like, the Padres could have won next year, just like they did in 2022, with Bob Melvin and AJ Preller and everybody working together. Or, like, it was just going to be drama at every turn. And I think we all know that maybe that was more likely based on how, what history tells us. And that just wasn't going to be good. So, this is just the best thing to happen.
Kevin, I think what's most frustrating for me and something I've seen a lot online isn't the fact that it's going to be an in-house hire next for the Padres. It isn't the fact that, last time the Padres gave away a manager to the San Francisco Giants, it was Bruce Bochy. And look, the dude's back in a World Series once again. I think what's most frustrating to me is that I see Bob Melvin leave. And whether it was Bob Melvin's choice, Preller's choice, who knows, that drama is going to stay hidden forever. But what we do know is that Bob Melvin's one of the most respected managers across managers in Major League Baseball. So who the hell else is going to take this job? And I know you say that an in-house candidate's the most likely option, but that tells me that's just someone else for AJ Preller to control. And the one manager that actually stood up to him, and by the way, gave him his only 2 winning seasons as a general manager, is the one walking out the door.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the optics are terrible. Just like, the optics of this coming down the day after Bruce Bochy leads another team to the World Series. The optics are terrible, and there is some reality that AJ Preller has dug a hole here. But the narrative, as often is the case, and I would just ask people to remember that it's generally shown at some point that the narrative is much more intense than the reality, or a little bit off from the reality. Bob Melvin was not entirely innocent in this situation. And I would also invite people to look at situations in their own life or things that we have learned in life. Is a dispute ever 100% to zero? Is it ever even like 90-10? I mean, don't both sides? And I'm just telling you, and I go to the story that I wrote. My story was largely devoted and had a lot of things in there that talked about things that AJ Preller was maybe the more complicit party. But I also talked about some things that Bob Melvin was complicit in, and that's the reality. Like that's the story. It was not all entirely AJ Preller. And remember that in this answer, I started out, AJ Preller has dug himself a hole for sure, no doubt. And if you're looking at this, the circumstantial or the evidence that is available looks like, here goes AJ again. Just, this was not all AJ Preller. And I don't know what else to say about that other than like the two men were put together basically, and it didn't work out. And I absolutely understand that people are tired of AJ's act. I get that. I do. There, like I said, a lot of evidence there. But, also been a lot of good things done. And Bob Melvin didn't do all these last 2 years by himself either. And AJ Preller didn't do all these last 2 years by himself either. And, players need to be talked about in terms of the good that was accomplished, and they need to be talked about in some of the failures too. So that's all I don't know what else to say. I know the narrative out there, and it's, at this point in social media in particular, it's almost impossible to argue with the narrative, or but it's just not as bad as all that. That's all.
All right. Well, okay. I have such mixed feelings about everything you just said, and I appreciate you're very objective in a very subjective topic, because I think you're trying to stick to the facts, and I think that's good for all of us to hear is exactly what happened as it's being reported. And that's your job. You're a Padres reporter, and you're nailing it. Here's where I get caught up. Like, okay, so I understand that AJ Preller did a lot of things wrong, and I understand that Bob Melvin did some too, and that this relationship was not feasible in terms of having a future together. However, we know how divorces work. We know how breakups work at any level of relationship. There usually is a wronger party, right? There's, somebody, yeah. And so when you do the postmortem of this relationship, was it the fact that Bob Melvin wasn't really understanding the job he was given? Like, he does have to be a Manchurian candidate for this to work, and he was pushing back way too hard. Or was it AJ Preller overstepping his boundaries as a general manager, maybe even more so with a manager who could threaten his power in the organization? Or was this a situation where, and again, I'm making something up here, where Bob Melvin wanted to handle certain star players a certain way from an emotional intelligence standpoint, but an analytical mind got in the way of doing that because, maybe Preller was thinking, hey, no, we need this guy on the field because we need his bat in the lineup. And Bob Melvin goes, yeah, but he needs to serve a consequence for X, Y, or Z that happened on the road trip. And they just like, so who was wronger here, I guess is what the question boils down to.
Again, like I said, if you had to pick one, I shouldn't even say that. The evidence shows you that you can't help but hold AJ Preller's past and certain failures against him, but it's just so much more complex than that. It is. Like, go back to Jace Tingler, and honest to goodness, and I wrote about this, that AJ Preller's problem there might have been leaving Jace Tingler alone too much, because Jace Tingler was not up to the job in 2021. And it's like, people are probably like, what? Leaving him alone? Yes! AJ Preller wasn't around as much in 2021, and things got a little chaotic there with the coaching staff and certain players and all that. Like, I wrote about it in my recent, the bigger story about Bob and AJ, that there are some paradoxes that people seem to really not pay attention to, and that is like AJ Preller has a lot of advisors, and I promise you he listens to those people, yet the narrative is that he doesn't. That's weird. And then AJ Preller is a meddler. AJ Preller isn't around all that much. Like, how do those two things go together? Now, I'm not saying he doesn't get involved in all that, but you brought up a very good point at one point about, like, Bob not understanding his role. Now, I don't know that that's exactly the way that it should be phrased, but the fact is, like, with different teams the manager, general manager dynamic, the manager front office dynamic are different. And the general manager sort of sets that. And it was one way with the A's and it was another way with the Padres. Bob Melvin would acknowledge that. And he would also acknowledge that he could have done better. He did that publicly as well. So, AJ definitely could have done better. Bob definitely could have done better. And there came a point, Bob didn't necessarily want to be involved in a lot of the things, player development and all that. Had an opinion about them afterward, but didn't necessarily want to be involved with them, which is fine. But maybe in the Padres system, the general manager likes the manager to be more involved in certain things. But what I'm trying to say is that it's so much more complex. I think that we'd all admit, though we don't act like it, that the world is far more complex than social media makes it. It's far more complex than gossip down at the coffee shop makes it. I don't know if anybody does that anymore. I know my dad does. Okay, it's far more complex than talk radio, far more complex than most of my stories. Like, the world has freaking nuance, and we act like it doesn't. And we act like there's one villain and one, hero, and that there is right and there is wrong. Well, the world isn't all the Bible, all right? There is gray area out there in these types of things. And again, I'm probably going to get crucified for all this, but I'm answering your questions because that's what I do. I'm going to say the evidence says AJ Preller bears a lot of responsibility. What I am pushing back on is that this is all his fault. And if you're going to acknowledge that it wasn't all his fault, then that should bring up some other questions in your mind. And if you've been married as long as I have, you do come across an awful lot. My wife's a helper, right? So we've dealt with a lot of friends who've had these sort of issues, right? And I'll tell you that there's always an alarm bell that goes off in my head when one of those parties, like you were talking about, Rich, does not acknowledge that they were complicit to some extent. Maybe they were the less guilty party, but they're claiming that it was all the other person. And that sends off alarm bells in my head, because that's just not true ever. And I don't like to use the word ever, but that is really, really close to never the truth. And in this case, Bob's come pretty darn close to putting this all on AJ. And I think that should set off some alarm bells. Again, I'm just being probably more transparent right here in this interview than I've ever been, in terms, because I need to protect certain things. I'm just trying to push back a little tiny bit as we go forward here, that this was all AJ Preller, and that the sainted manager is leaving because AJ Preller was impossible to work with. So that's all.
No, that's perfectly stated. A relationship is something that's built up of two people. So if it fails, it's incumbent on both parties, and or I should say, both parties are complicit, as you perfectly stated it. So yeah, nobody's martyred here. Nobody gets to carry the cross and say, I did everything I could and it was just that evildoer on the other side of the fence. No, that's not how it works. Like you said, this isn't biblical. However, I do think that maybe divine intervention needs to occur in the 2024 season for the Padres. I think the only person on the planet who can save this situation is Taylor Swift. Let me explain why.
Okay, I like it.
No.
It's good. It's good.
Come on. We need Fernando Tatis Jr. to slide in her DMs, steal her from Travis Kelce, start a podcast with his brother or father, and then all of a sudden we too will be celebrating like the Kansas City Chiefs, Kevin. We too will be champions once more.
Yes.
Or for the first time.
Yeah, it'll happen.
Here's the thing. The Padres would put her up on the video board 47 times over the course of 9 innings. Right.
And
it would get ruined.
Okay.
And
it didn't happen for the goose.
Yeah, the goose. Remember the rally goose? Do you remember?
Yeah. How'd that work? Yeah.
Well, what about the Kershaw crying meme, huh? Remember that?
How about this, Kev? We'll see you in a couple weeks for a steak dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, guys. I already
All right.
told you what my calendar was. So, you just, we'll see. We'll see if you guys step up to it. Well, that's what we'll see.
Oh,
we're the
Yeah,
ones.
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
all-
so
all
in a
by-
relationship, Kevin,
There's nuance here, Kevin.
and there's two sides, Kevin.
You
A lot
son
of
of
words.
a.
A lot of words being spoken over there. A lot of words.
I'm just saying.
The
Oh,
world
God.
is not biblical.
I hope
Or, I don't
I hope someone gets the 5 to 7 minute hug that we have with Kevin when we see him on video. It's gonna be good.
Just a 4-way hug.
yeah, and we just hold each other in the parking
in
lot.
the middle of a steakhouse parking lot next to the dumpster. Kevin, we appreciate it every single time you join the show. Thanks, buddy.
Right on, guys. Good to hear your voices. See ya.
Yeah,
You
We
too,
love
man.
you.
We love you.
We love you. I think you hung up.
Oh, what?
Damn it.
Wow, that went fast.
Kevin AC on San Diego Sports 760 is brought to you by Hamul Casino. With thousands of slots, table games, and a sports bar voted San Diego's best, Hamul Casino is always a fan favorite. Quidel Ortho is proud to be the official diagnostics partner of the San Diego Padres. Quidel Ortho has been making a difference every day, changing lives one test at a time.
Never enough time with Kevin AC.
Mm-mm.
Never enough time with Kevin AC. We will be seeing him soon. And when we do get out to that steakhouse, I'm going to be driving a Toyota. That's right. I want to talk to everybody out there about San Diego County Toyota dealers. So I drive a 4Runner. You've heard about that before, the ultimate family car, but they have an awesome line of SUVs that they can get you in. And I would highly suggest it. The 4Runner has been the most reliable vehicle I've ever owned. The thing runs like a tank. It never breaks down. All I've had to do is change the brakes once, the tires once, because I put a lot of mileage on this sucker, the oil every 3 months, and put some gas in it, and it runs like a top. So if you're looking for a car that's going to start up and turn over for you every single time, get out to San Diego County Toyota dealers. Look, if you're like me and you're fighting with your old vehicle right now, like I bought a used vehicle years ago. It was the first vehicle I owned coming out of college when I was first drafted into the NFL. And I bought a lemon, man. This sucker had a bad transmission. I was battling with this thing. There were times where I would be on a long road trip and I wouldn't turn off the engine at a rest stop because I was worried that the car wouldn't start on the other side. If you have that stress, you know what I'm talking about. It stinks. And Toyotas have this remarkable and truly incredible value when it comes to resale. It's not just about the reliability. It's also about sustaining its value throughout the life of your ownership. I bought my 4Runner brand new. I've never bought a brand new car before because if you look at the Blue Book, if you look at the value on these vehicles, even the pre-owned Toyotas, they hold their value. So there's a lot of reasons to get out to a San Diego County Toyota dealer. But besides all that, they have an enormous stock. So if you're looking for a car or a truck or an SUV, they've got the perfect model and make for you. So get out to San Diego County Toyota dealers. If you're interested in electrified vehicles, they also have the Toyota Beyond Zero lineup of electrified vehicles. I drive around in the Prius when I go up to LA and visit my in-laws. So again, tons of fun to drive in those things. Get in a Toyota today, San Diego County Toyota dealers. Okay, the Patriots, amid a Mac Jones resurgence, have made a very interesting roster decision. We head back to the NFL briefly, and then we'll cover a lot of what Kevin AC talked about in that interview. A lot to unpack there. That's next.
This update is presented by DraftKings. Travis and I are torturing ourselves over here. Not good. Starting off in the MLB postseason, Arizona Diamondbacks head into the World Series. They beat the Phillies last night in Game 7, 4-2. World Series gets started on Friday at 5:30 in Texas. Rangers Diamondbacks play Game 1. In the NBA last night, Lakers lose to the Nuggets 119-107. Nikola Jokic had 29 points at his return. Suns took down the Warriors 108-104. Devin Booker 32 points in the win. NFL trade deadline just days away. There could be some big names on the move, mainly Titans big names, as DeAndre Hopkins and Derrick Henry have both been rumored to be traded. Check out what DraftKings has to offer this season with Code Sports, because life's more fun when you're in on the action. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Age and eligibility restrictions do apply. Void where prohibited. See DraftKings.com for details.
Big Red Sheedy and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760. Speaking of Titans, Fletch, Tennessee Titans, looks like rookie Will Levis going to get the start.
Wow.
How about that? Yeah. He'll be the one playing Sunday. Ryan Tannehill's out with an ankle injury.
That's kind of a shocker.
It's a little shocker. Little shocker.
What's that? Will Levis?
Yeah, I didn't know Mayo Boy was getting a start.
Yeah, Mayo Boy is gonna get in there for the Tennessee.
So they're
Titans.
tanking. They're officially on the tank train, because now it's rumored that Derrick Henry and DeAndre Hopkins could be moved to the deadline, which is days away.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't shock me.
What do you like for landing spots for those two? I heard Derrick Henry Cowboys, maybe.
I think on their feet.
Speaking of feet,
Take a lap.
Should I actually start taking a lap?
I think so.
Yeah.
We just force
hang
him
on.
to
Hang on. I'm just gonna do a quick lap.
There he goes. We're gonna time him.
One.
Which one am I going?
All the way around the newsroom.
Just all the way down the long corridor behind us. There he goes. He's running.
This is going to be once per show, though.
On 100%. 100%.
Did you see Derrick Henry Cowboys? That one actually makes a lot of sense. I think Tony Pollard's been a little underwhelming for Cowboys this year after big expectations on him. I think that ace. Wow, that was fast.
He's actually very quick.
You are the speediest son of a gun south
That
of
might have been like 15 seconds.
I'm so out of breath. I don't do that often.
Wow, those are never mind.
What?
Rich said it was quick. You said you're out of breath.
Oh,
You know,
I missed that part.
you take a lap, Ben.
Yeah.
I can't make fun of Travis's sex life.
Yeah, you can. You can. Everybody does.
Yeah, including the
Yeah.
willing participants.
In fact, my mom just texted in.
Wait, you can't. That's a hard transition. Yeah, as a matter of fact, speaking of which,
Yeah, that was on purpose. Come on.
So Cowboys?
Yeah. How about them boys?
the funny thing is I don't really think Derrick Henry's been all that overwhelming either this season. So whoever gets him, I mean, good luck.
When was Tony Pollard at his best? It was when he was able to get the ball like in the passing game in the middle of the field, when he was that third down back, when he had Zeke to be the punisher, right? Derrick Henry, I think, is still a punisher.
Yeah, I mean, I also think that the Dallas Cowboys, I mean, they have a decent offensive line. I shouldn't say they have a bad offensive line, but I think they were better equipped up front when Zeke was really going with the boys. And Tony Pollard, like you said, was being used as sort of the secondary punch there out of the backfield. I just don't know if a backfield, or I should say, it makes sense him going to the Cowboys, but I don't think it's going to necessarily work out.
So DeAndre Hopkins then is the other piece of this.
Yeah.
Again, these are rumors that have been out there the last couple of days with the Titans. They may be moving on from these two pieces at the trade deadline. I'll tell you, there's a couple teams who are in playoff contention who could use a DeAndre Hopkins. Debo Samuel gets injured. The 49ers could use DeAndre Hopkins.
Yep.
With the Chiefs, they've had wide receiver issues all year long. They could use a DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. The Niners makes a lot of sense to me because Debo's. Yeah. I mean, it's just and offenses really that are kind of ready, big, go. Like the Chiefs, like the Niners, like even the Rams. I don't think they're going to be moving anything to get. They don't have the draft picks to move to get a DeAndre Hopkins, but I could see the Niners making that move very easily. I really could, and they have the cap space for it.
And who knows Debo's timeline?
Yeah,
like I know that's what they say is after the bye week he'll be back. But we talked to Dr. Chow yesterday, and Rich, you brought it up. That timeline seems too short for a fracture.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly. And it's a clavicle, which you're not doing anything with except letting it sit there. So it just in 3 weeks' time it heals. It seems a little quick.
I don't buy it.
Yeah, so Hopkins there. Another interesting note that came down the wire today. 3-year contract signed by Malik Cunningham, backup wide receiver, backup quarterback for the Patriots. And then 10 days later, he is cut, released, and they're waiting for him to clear waivers now to sign him to the practice squad. I mean, the Patriots this season seem so disjointed. And we used to say, oh, well, that's Belichick. He's playing 4D chess. The rest of us will catch up on what Belichick's doing. But these days anymore, you sort of see what the Patriots do, and you're like, yeah, dude, does he really know what he's doing anymore?
Is he senile?
Well, what would be going on there? Why would you sign for a 3-year deal and then 10 days later cut him?
I have a theory.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mac Jones played good enough to know that you're going to play with him the rest of the season.
Yeah, but you have a 3-year deal. I mean, you literally just signed this thing.
I'm not saying it makes sense. I'm saying that's the only theory I got.
I never looked at the terms of the deal. I don't know if they were necessarily released, but what was because if they didn't sign him to a bunch of guaranteed money, it doesn't matter.
Right.
You know, so which I'm assuming he got virtually with $30,000 signing bonus. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Oh,
Yeah.
Right.
So there it is. That's the reason why they cut him, because it doesn't matter. Because
pennies.
Yeah. I mean, when we're talking about millions of dollars in signing bonus, tens of millions of dollars in signing bonus for some of these players, 30 grand is like stuff that Robert Kraft finds like in his jeans, you know, when he's doing his
so
laundry.
depressing, by the way.
Yeah.
Because that's like a large portion of America. They make $30,000 a year.
Yeah. Robert Kraft finds out in his couch. Like he'll throw out $30,000 with a couch. He'll be like, I just didn't feel like moving the cushions.
It was so lumpy to sit on.
Turns out there was cash. It's a cash couch. Anyways, Bell. That's kind of how he sounds, by the way. I remember having conversations about like, hi, Rach. Be like, hey, Mr. Kraft.
Cash couch sounds like a bit we should do.
We absolutely. And now have a seat on the cash couch.
We have one winner. They
We
come
already have
in.
the couch.
Yeah, right?
That couch looks like it should be the first thing you see in a porn video.
Yeah, I would not want to put my hands in those cushions.
No.
In between those cushions.
It's like patent leather.
It's filled with popcorn for some reason.
Imagine that has $30,000 in it. We've just been like,
for some reason is Jonathan Rifkin, who eats popcorn like a slob.
by the way, J-Riff cannot be trusted, because ever since Travis and him became workout buddies on the iWatch, there are times where he's here, like in the building.
Correct.
And all of a sudden, he'll get an alert, Travis does, TD, on his wristwatch, and it'll say, oh yeah, J-Riff just finished a workout.
Yeah.
So maybe that couch is getting some work.
J-Riff just finished an indoor run. He'll be sitting on the couch.
He's humping the couch. There's no
like
question.
a dog.
Well, I mean, I guess it's legit then. Heart rate's up. It's a good looking couch.
Real quick, any massive takeaways from Kevin Acee from you two?
You know what? Let's get to that on the other side. Yes, the answer is yes. There are a bunch of takeaways from that conversation with Kevin Acee. Specifically, one thing he said about the relationship between AJ Preller and Bob Melvin. In fact, we could replay some of that sound, and we will throughout the show. But first, I want to talk to everybody about something that's happened to me over the past 6 weeks plus. I have lost now nearing 40 pounds in just 6 weeks. I know this sounds like a commercial, and it is. I'm going to talk to you about sdfatloss.com, and I do really strongly encourage you guys to sign up if you're struggling with your weight. But it's not because they're paying me. This is something that has been a struggle of mine for a long time, and I've been sharing this with a lot of people who I know are in the same boat I am. Just as like a buddy, like saying, hey, listen, I'm going to give you a couple of tips that I've learned along the way here. Like, I know there are certain people in your life who, they're a little down on their luck and also struggling with their weight and stuff like that. And I've been sharing some of the tips that I've learned like for free with them. But I want you to sign up for this, because I think the accountability is the piece of this that is missing from most of our lives. And it certainly was with me. I had no idea how important having a team with me doing things together was to my physical fitness or my general health. But when you're like in the NFL or on a college football team, you're locked into a tunnel. Like you're in the training room every day, you're in the weight room every day, you're eating good things that are provided by a team nutritionist every day, and everything's just sort of done for you. When you leave that environment, you're left to your own devices. So you drive through McDonald's, nobody's stopping you, nobody's questioning you, nobody's weighing you in every day. All of a sudden with sdfatloss.com, I have concerned help on the other side of this app. I can call numbers at any time to ask advice. I have Wayne and Chloe, who's my weight loss team, at my fingertips. The fact that I'm doing this with TD and Fletch has really helped as well. Being able to like jump on the group text and celebrate, hey, I'm doing really good. Lost another couple of pounds over the weekend. What are you guys down to? And that has fostered an environment for the first time since I left the NFL that I actually feel like I'm on a team again, doing something that's aimed at having better health. So that's what I would suggest. If you are in the same place that I was when I started this program, you gained a ton of weight, you have no idea how to take it off, I would suggest finding a buddy, a spouse, a friend, somebody who you could do this with. Go to sdfatloss.com, sign up together, and then start this journey, because Ben, he's down now. What are you down total?
A lot. Damn near 50 pounds.
He started out at 278. He just hit 230 this morning. Travis has lost close to 30 pounds.
If we go from the same time period, I would be down 36 pounds.
Okay, yeah. So we'll start from there. So when we try to do it on our own, Ben was 278. I was 306. You were 280.
284.
284. So you're over 30 pounds.
Yeah.
So what am I down to? I'm over 40 pounds then. I've lost over 40 pounds in a matter of months.
You know what someone told me yesterday about you, Rich?
What's that?
I finally saw his eyes.
Yeah,
Wow.
because my cheeks were so puffy.
That's because I'm always looking down here.
That's all the health benefits are one thing, but also, have you guys looked in the mirror recently? We're hot.
Dude,
hot. Oh my
super
God.
duper hot.
I spend so much time in the bathroom just looking at how hot I am.
I actually do.
I bought bigger mirrors.
I believe you.
I need to see more. Anyways, sdfatloss.com. I mean, honestly, these people are doing God's work over there. It's really awesome. Really appreciate Wayne and Chloe's help. sdfatloss.com is where you can reach out and find your path. I look, it's going to be different for everybody. Everybody will have different results. It's really worked for us, but I strongly suggest you start there. Okay.
I also just heard from a buddy who's doing SD fat loss right now.
Yeah.
Down 25 pounds in like 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah. It
works.
Fast. It comes off really fast. All right. Coming up next, let's do it. Let's review and recap a little bit of what Kevin Acee said there about Bob Melvin leaving the Padres, who's going to be next as the Padres manager. That's next on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch.
Kevin AC had a lot to say. We have a lot to say about it. Coming up next. Big Rich, Sheedy, and Fletch at San Diego Sports 760. And a lot going on here in San Diego Sports, especially with the Padres, because 2 weeks ago we were told, look, going forward, Bob Melvin, he's our guy. Nothing's changing. It's going to be wonderful. It's going to be great. And then yesterday we find out Bo Mel no longer going to be the manager here at the Padres. He's going to go up and, do it for the Giants. It's just a rival team. It's fine. No big deal.
Everything's gonna be fine, guys.
Yeah, everything's good.
I mean, this is normal business. When you have a manager who's led your franchise to the only 2 winning records that you've enjoyed during the past decade. It's time for him to move on to a division rival. Tale as old as time.
Now, one way this becomes kind of fun in San Diego, which right now it doesn't feel very fun, but if Bob Melvin airs out the San Diego Padres.
Wow. He won't.
He's
too classy.
I think his introductory press conference is scheduled for sometime today or tomorrow. But if he does some sort of interview on KMBR, I think that's the Giants affiliate up in the Bay Area, and he lets some stuff fly about what actually went down here.
Well, questions will be asked.
For sure. They have to be asked.
And I'm buddies with a lot of the hosts on that station, also just in the Bay Area, who have interest in the Giants, obviously. So I'll put out the APB, like, please keep me posted. If anything comes up that is relevant to the things that we want to know
We're
about.
going to have Mark Willard on this show, aren't we?
It's possible. We try to avoid it. We try to avoid it as much as we can.
Now, Kevin AC, who was just on with us, was talking about the relationship between Bob Melvin and AJ Preller, and did point out that, if anybody says it's all one-sided, it's not true.
Of course. Yeah. That's a right thing for Kevin to say, and that's a good perspective to have, because right now in San Diego, that's not the case. That's not what people are feeling.
Not what people are feeling, but that's why Kevin's trying to throw that out there.
For sure, both sides, if you had to break up a percentage, whatever it is, 75-25, I tend to think it's more like 85-15, Preller's fault, Melvin's fault. But it's not all one-sided, but I think the fact of the matter remains that if the Padres would have just fired him, they would have had to pay him. And so they let someone come in and interview him, and they didn't care who that was, and it happened to be an NL West rival.
I get it. And you know what? To me, I mean, from an optic standpoint, just from a publicity standpoint, it may be the money. It may be worth the money to do it because essentially what this means is there's so like AJ Preller, or I should say, start with Peter Seidler. Peter Seidler is so tired of the amount of money that he's been spending on this team to have poor results that he can't stand losing anymore.
And
At this point, it feels like throwing good money after bad.
And I do think it's like $3 or $4 million, which I know compared to what AJ or what Peter Seidler's been spending, that doesn't feel like a lot. A few $1,000,000 is still a few $1,000,000.
Well, you feel a few $1,000,000, I would assume, if you're Peter Seidler. I don't think in the grand scheme of things it's going to make or break the Padres, from a front office standpoint, from a ownership standpoint. But man, it doesn't feel right letting him go to the Giants. That's the part of it that, like, from a public relations standpoint, it just feels like, wow, what happens now if the Giants narrowly edge out the Padres for the wild card next year?
We all puke.
Yeah.
Sing us a song, you're the piano man. Sing us nothing for the longest time.
You know what to do? 844-570-1360. If you haven't called yet, call now because we're giving away Sting, Billy Joel tickets, April 13th show, Petco Park next spring. LiveNation.com for more tickets and information, or call right now. This is your third to last opportunity to win these tickets this week on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. So we'll have a pair tomorrow, pair Friday, Bar Car Friday.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
But yeah, that's a lot of fun.
Do you ever watch Billionaire? Billions.
Yeah, Billion.
Billions.
On Showtime, or is it Showtime?
I think it's Showtime.
Yeah,
But the psychiatrist, therapist,
Yes.
Maggie Siff,
Yes.
who is Wendy Rhodes.
she is like, she's got serious sex appeal.
At 1,000,000%, they should bring her in to mend fences there in the Padres.
Yes.
Come on,
dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
She she gives that simmer look.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
she'll cut you in half with those eyes.
And
Oh,
you're-
I like that a lot.
Yeah, and you're fine with it.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
good. Yeah,
it's
no, that's
cool.
fine. You
I'm
can,
in trouble. I get it.
yeah. I've been a bad boy. What's my punishment?
Right. Right.
All right. Well, we want to hear from everybody out there listening to this show. And congratulations to Sean, who won the Sting Billy Joel tickets. Super excited for him. Larry, I believe, was the winner yesterday.
Look at that.
It might have been Jose or Jorge, somebody on Monday. We don't know. Look, the point
There's
is,
so many winners.
there's so many winners, and there will be 2 more winners of those tickets over the next 2 days. We got to scram, but we do want to hear from you. 70470. Start your message with team if you want to text the show, or you could tweet at us on X, Big Rich TD Fletch. What are your feelings about this? AJ Preller, Bob Melvin, who are you going to miss more when they're gone? Because it sort of feels like we're heading towards an ultimate end here. We'll get to that on the other side.
Hour number 3, Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. This update presented by DraftKings Fantasy Sports. Starting off in the postseason, Arizona DBacks, they're headed to the World Series after taking down the Phillies last night in Game 7, 4-2. World Series gets started on Friday at 5:30 in Texas as the Rangers and Diamondbacks play Game 1. In the NBA last night, Lakers lose to the Nuggets 119-107. Nikola Jokic, 29 points in his return, and the Suns took down the Warriors 108-104. Devin Booker has 32. In the NFL, trade deadline just days away. Titan stars Derrick Henry and DeAndre Hopkins could be the two biggest names on the move at the deadline. And check out what DraftKings has to offer this season with code SPORTS, because life's more fun when you're in on the action. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Age and eligibility restrictions do apply. Void where prohibited. See DraftKings.com for details.
Yeah! Woo! Happy Wednesday to those who celebrate. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you. And if you're listening right now, please just keep listening, because we have a major update on the Billy Joel Sting tickets that will be available. They are playing a show April 13th over at Petco Park next spring. We have had tickets all week long. We will continue to have tickets all week long. So just be listening for your opportunity there. Also, we have been receiving a tremendous amount of reaction to the Kevin AC interview we just had.
And on the text line, the 619 texted in and said, if they fired Bo Mel and he went to the Giants, would that have been better? I would say no. That would actually be worse for me.
Honestly, I think it would be better because you're not giving him to the Giants. Like, to me, this is like again, from a public relations standpoint alone, because if something like you fire a guy, okay, he goes and he manages with any team he wants. You let him walk with the $3 million or whatever it is in pay because it's guaranteed to him. But I don't know. I guess the question is $3 million worth your pride? Well, maybe right now it makes fiscal sense. But if the Giants, like I was describing earlier, like narrowly edge out the Padres for a wild card spot, all of a sudden you think, yeah, and you're doing it with our manager.
Now, let me tell you how this is a little bit better, if it makes you feel a little bit better, if they're able to attach one of these bad contracts to Bo Mel on their way to the Giants. And that would be Jake Cronenworth, Matt Carpenter, a couple people you're tied to for the next few years. Jake Cronenworth, a long time.
Yeah.
If you force the Giants to then take that contract as well as Bob Melvin, maybe that's a little better. However, on the backside, one of those guys could end up like hitting the walk-off home run to knock you out of the
How
playoffs.
bad do you want to get rid of Jake Cronenworth? If you're like, look,
Right.
look, listen.
It's not Jake Cronenworth that I want to get rid of. It's his contract. It's a bad contract.
You can have Bo Mel. You can have my car. We got a couple statues you can take. I mean, whatever you need. Let's just get him out of here.
How about this? Guys, guess what? The Padres' first game next season outside of the Seoul, Korea game is against the San Francisco Giants. We get to face our guy, Bobby Bomel, on game 1. Yeah, look, that's the reality of the situation is you're not just going to face him game 1 of the official start of the regular season, but you're going to face him, I don't know, month 2 and month 3 and month 4, or potentially in the postseason. My problem with this is if you fire a manager and somebody hires him in division, well, okay, there's nothing you can do to control that. But if somehow the Giants pull off success with Bob Melvin, it just further rubs salt in the wound. It'll further sow seeds of distrust with AJ Preller and this fan base. Like it'll reap more animus between this fan base and what's happened to this fan base at the hands of a general manager who has ultimately, maybe, most likely, more control than he should have.
Well, here's the flip side then. Game 1, first game in the States against the Giants. If Padres win, I mean, does that erase everything? All of a sudden you flip your feelings and, okay, hold on here. Maybe this is the right call?
A lot of winning would mask it.
A lot of
not
winning.
Just against the Giants, a lot of winning against everyone, having one of those seasons that we thought was going to happen this year, that would fix everything. Yeah, it would. And we would be talking about AJ Preller once again as a great general manager, the son of God, whatever.
Have we talked about that before?
And people in San Diego have, man. Rockstar GM, those t-shirts are still a thing.
Yeah, Impeller we trust. This from a texter. Look, Kevin was trying hard to be quote unquote fair. Sure, few things in this world are black and white, but come on. Kevin depends on access in order to cover the team. Is he trying to stay in the organization's good graces? Look, there is, and this is every reporter. It's not Kevin Acee. It's Ken Rosenthal. It's Bob Nightingale. It's the beat writer who covers the Diamondbacks. It's the beat writer who covers the Tampa Bay Rays. Yeah, there are people you need to protect, including yourself, because you can make a forest fire to cook a barbecue, but I wouldn't suggest it.
Right.
I mean, he could have done a fantastic interview with us and unloaded everything he knows about the Padres and the Discord and maybe private conversations he's had with players and front office people. But then we would lose any insight that he could share with us whatsoever.
Right.
And by the way, potentially lose his job. So I don't give him any demerits for trying to walk that line. I think he gave us a lot. And specifically, one of the things he gave us was, look, if you're asking me straight up who bears more responsibility, and it's my opinion subjectively, of course I'm going to give the lion's share to AJ Preller, but that does not mean that Bob Melvin did everything right.
Yeah.
I think he was trying to say that Bob Melvin's hands aren't entirely clean in this. And I think that that's a fact. Like, it does take two to tango. So while I think Bob Melvin was probably right when he was pushing back against AJ, Darren Smith was talking about it yesterday. Bob does have a little bit of a reputation of doing stuff like this. In fact, he has a nickname amongst certain circles. I think it's Backdoor Bob, where it's like he can kind of sneak his way around certain things.
Is that the only rhythm?
Stop it.
Can we do a wait? Hang on. Can we do a deeper dive?
Think about how Bob Melvin.
God.
Think about how Bob Melvin got to the San Diego Padres. It's the exact same situation, just from the A's to the Padres.
What was the nickname?
Hang on. Turn off your mics for a second.
Okay.
Anyways, look. I mean, that's what you were saying.
Yeah. I mean, metaphorically, sure.
To the 619's point, what Kevin Acee had said or not said, I tried to do the same thing. I was trying to get the feeling of how much was he trying to hold back here, because he has to hold something back. And look, Rich, you're right. I mean, he has to toe the line a little bit if he wants to continue to have a job. However, Kevin Acee, and what we have learned from him over the years, and honestly becoming friends with Kevin Acee, he does say as much as he can. And I think he does a great job of when he can't say something, he just doesn't.
Hang on a second. Okay.
Okay,
hang
I
on.
was
No.
wrong.
No. Hang on a second.
Okay.
I'm going to correct something that Ben does often.
Okay.
Thank you, Darren.
Okay. He will. This is the reason why I started referring to Ben as a fountain of misinformation.
Which is why I said I think before I said the name.
But you
wasn't positive.
You say
I
things.
think.
You say things with conviction and confidence, and oftentimes we're like, "Wait, that does not sound right." Like, so he goes.
I was like 95% of the way right.
I'm pretty sure
No,
people
you
call
weren't- you
him.
weren't.
I'm pretty sure many people call him Backdoor Bob. And we get a text message from somebody very close to the show.
Well, it's the guy I was quoting, Darren Smith. I said,
Okay,
Darren.
I didn't know if you said him by name. He goes, back channel Bob. Back channel Bob. Jesus, Ben. So yeah. Very different. Two very different things.
I will say, my gut told me that wasn't correct.
Oh my God. We can't have a serious conversation about anything on this show. I mean, we're trying our hardest.
Darren sent us a picture of Bob Melvin's license plate.
I didn't know he was from New York. Holy God.
I love this show.
Oh God.
All right. So
Only here from 6 to 9, baby.
Did
That's
that-
all you get.
Did that say Bass Man? Is he a fisherman?
Yes, he is.
Literally, our text line is filling up.
Oh God.
You know, left the back door open. Jesus. Okay. I can't even read any of these.
There are so many texts coming in that just say channel. Channel. It's channel. Back channel. Oh God.
All right. So here's the reality of the situation. I think it is. I think it is incumbent.
It came out my nose.
Upon Darren Smith and Kevin Acee and anybody who has insight into that clubhouse or insight into the front office, to protect certain people. Because look, there's certain information that these guys, they only get from legitimately one source could know some of the things that they know.
Anonymous also, by the way.
Okay.
Like there are times where you can't, something, but you can't share it with people because there's only one person who could have given you that information. And so I get what Kevin was doing. However, I think more importantly than him saying Bob Melvin's hands are dirty and all this, I think he was willing to admit the fact that AJ Preller deserves the lion's share of the responsibility for this faltering. I think that, look, who's there? Like, let's be very honest with each other. Kevin Acee could easily just harangue Bob Melvin as he walks out the door because he's never coming back. It's not like he's going to be a Padres manager again sometime in the future. But I thought what he said was fair, obviously, but also obviously he gave us some insight. There's a lot of people and a growing attitude inside of that organization that believes that AJ Preller is the problem.
So this was a 5-minute answer. We'll play about a minute of it here, but this is Kevin answering the question, who do you put more of the blame on? And Rich, you asked it, and I thought it was a great question. Here was Kevin's answer.
You can't help but hold AJ Preller's past and certain failures against him, but it's just so much more complex than that. It is. Like, go back to Jace Tingler, and honest to goodness, and I wrote about this, that AJ Preller's problem there might have been leaving Jace Tingler alone too much because Jace Tingler was not up to the job in 2021. And it's like, people are probably like, what? Leaving him alone? Yes! AJ Preller wasn't around as much in 2021. And things got a little chaotic there with the coaching staff and certain players and all that. Like, I wrote about it in my recent, the bigger story about Bob and AJ, that there are some paradoxes that people seem to really not pay attention to, and that is like AJ Preller has a lot of advisors, and I promise you he listens to those people. Yet the narrative is that he doesn't. That's weird. And then AJ Preller is a meddler. AJ Preller isn't around all that much.
Yeah, look, I think what's fair is to give a share of the blame to Bob Melvin. But I mean, let's be honest about common denominators here. Let's be very honest about what's happened here over the span of time that AJ Preller has been the general manager and what's happened over the span of time that Bob Melvin was affiliated with the organization. Bob Melvin brought this team in part to an NLCS.
Back-to-back winning seasons and full seasons.
An 82-win season. Yep. They're playing 162. And as a result, I mean, don't get me wrong, having those things in the order they happened, I think expectations were extremely high after the championship series visit. And obviously, this season was an enormous letdown. And that led to his moving on from the San Diego Padres, however it's being pitched to all of us. But yeah, I mean, does he share accountability? Yeah, he has a share of the accountability. But yeah, the majority of the accountability should be on AJ Preller. He's been here longer. He's architected this entire thing. This is his mess.
I feel like backdoor just became a code word.
Oh, for sure.
And yeah, there's no doubt about it.
I think it already was a code word.
Yeah, that's also true. But look, we have 2 more pairs of tickets to give away to see Billy Joel and Sting, Petco Park, April 13th. Tickets and info at livenation.com. But you have to be listening for a mashup that we will play again tomorrow. You be the 6th caller after you hear the mashup and give us the code word. The code word will be backdoor.
I love it.
Okay. So
I love it.
Yeah. So tomorrow at some point in the show, not only do you have to be the 6th caller after you hear the mashup, you have to give the code word backdoor. So, and it could play at any time. So that's that. There it is. There's the info on how to get these tickets tomorrow. The hottest tickets maybe on the planet.
Yeah. These are going to be a lot of fun to give out tomorrow and Friday, as we have the entire week so far. Okay, what I got for you is Arizona Diamondbacks in the World Series. That's a sentence I did not think I would be able to say this year, but they beat Philadelphia in Philadelphia, 4-2 victory last night, and arguably the most unlikely World Series participant in the National League field this year. But the D-backs will face the Texas Rangers. So the D-backs, NL West rival of the Padres, are going to play a World Series against the Texas Rangers, who Bruce Bochy manages. Kill me.
I don't know how much excitement I have for this. Seems a little weird.
Moving on to college football, the American Athletic Conference has voted to add Army into its league as a football-only member, sources told ESPN's Pete Thamel today, with both sides working towards Army joining the conference starting in 2024. And I want to jump off there for a second. We'll get back to Bob Melvin, the Padres, AJ Preller, Peter Seidler, the whole gang. And if you missed our Kevin AC interview, we'll play that sound again sometime this hour. But man, oh man, like this all of a sudden opens the door for things, the back door maybe, for things that could have a tangent effect on San Diego State. So Army is joining a conference as a football-only participant.
Okay.
San Diego State, all of a sudden, in my eye, that opens the door to a plethora of different situations. Like, could they potentially join the ACC? Could they potentially join the Big Ten? Could they potentially join the SEC?
So to be completely honest, what makes it more interesting to me is, could it be a basketball-only participant somewhere?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're talking about one of the best programs in the country playing in the Mountain West, and why do Dutch and JD Wicker have to schedule the preseason so hard? It's because the level of competition in the Mountain West isn't enough to get you to the Sweet 16 on your, or to the March Madness on your own volition. You need to schedule hard preseason games. Well, if they're a basketball-only participant elsewhere, well, that's not the case.
And to your point, imagine this. Imagine, I don't know, the basketball team playing in the Big Ten and the football team joining the Big 12. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, San Diego State would fit perfectly with the Big Ten, especially now with a Southern California feel. You have UCLA, you have USC. Imagine San Diego State piggybacks and their basketball team plays in that conference. I mean, look, the ACC is very different than the Big Ten. Even the Big 12 is very different than the AEC, but you catch my drift. Like, there is a possibility here, or I guess an avenue that wasn't prior available in my mind for San Diego State to explore. I mean, who else? I mean, maybe if the Pac-12 exists moving forward, maybe it exists as a football-only conference. Maybe it exists as only a basketball-only conference.
Well, that's sure. I'm not sure solves a lot of problems if you were just going to do football only or basketball only in whatever particular conference, because of all of the other sports at the schools. So, I mean, this opens up a lot of doors for a lot of schools, really. If you don't have to add in all the travel, the cost of travel, whatever the line list is, this could change the game.
Yeah, this is I don't know, man. Like, the college football, or I should say the college sports landscape, is changing very rapidly. And I feel like every single new thing that occurs sets precedent, right? It's not just going to be a one-off. Like, you're going to see certain one-offs, like, you know, a team will make a decision, and who knows, maybe Army is a cul-de-sac. Like, they're the only team that does a football-only option joining a conference. But I don't feel like it ends there. I kind of feel like you're going to have more teams following suit, and this is going to be more, this is going to open up more doors. And man, we're really concentrating on all the doors today. It's going to open up more doors for more teams to exploit. All right, we got to go. Coming up next on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, a game that we play every Wednesday, and you know it as well as we do. Red pill, blue pill.
But first, we already talked about Skinny Rich.
What's going
I
on?
want to talk about Skinny TD.
Yeah, you know what? Okay, so check this out.
Okay.
I'm walking out to my truck last night, and my neighbor comes out at the same time. He's hopping out of his car, and he's like, "Whoa, it is working!" And I'm like, what's that, man? He's like, no, you really have lost weight.
Oh,
and I'm like,
wow.
yeah, hey, thanks.
That's an
thanks.
awesome feeling.
Yeah, exactly.
Ben,
So,
we planted him.
yes.
We
That's what I was going to ask.
checks in the mail, man.
That was
much did you-
actually Mama Dale dressed up in disguise.
As it dressed up as neighbor Alvin, who listens every morning on his way to work.
Hey,
so
Alvin.
appreciate you, Alvin. But look, man, before this, I was a little lost. I'll be quite honest with you. I felt stuck. I felt like I was never going to be able to shed some weight here and not feel, well, I mean, fat for lack of better terms. But look, I would get winded doing everyday tasks, cleaning the house, doing a little yard work, light yard work. I felt like I was out of breath. Tying my own shoes was a struggle. And I wish I was kidding about that, but that's how it was. I needed some help. I needed someone to show me what I needed to do, and not just show me, but keep checking in with me, keep me on the right track. And that's where sdfatloss.com came into play. The staff and the coaches over at sdfatloss.com, they showed us all the correct way we should be eating, the healthy way to eat, the healthy way to lose weight and lose weight fast. I'm down nearly 30 pounds since starting this plan. Scale still dropping. Rich, you talked about it earlier, doing this with a friend, a partner, a group. It's so much easier.
Yeah.
It's so much easier. And you know what? It's actually fun.
Yeah. The group text thing is a real thing. Like taking pictures of the scale, celebrating with somebody else, or a couple of guys or a couple of gals. Like it really does feel like the right way to do it.
Yeah, a little competition between everybody as well. So do it with us. Do it with us. Go to sdfatloss.com. Schedule your free consultation today. There's no exercise. There's no counting points or counting calories or injections. None of that stuff. You do it all at home, and they help you along the way. So start your weight loss journey today with us. We'll do it all together. sdfatloss.com.
Love it. Red pill, blue pill coming up next.
This update is presented by DraftKings Fantasy Sports. Starting off in the MLB postseason, D-backs are heading to the World Series after taking down the Phillies last night in Game 7, 4-2. World Series gets started on Friday at 5:30 in Texas. Rangers and Diamondbacks will play Game 1. The Padres and Bob Melvin are no longer a duo. He is the new manager up in San Francisco. Kevin Acee was on the show earlier today. If you missed it, it's already up on the free iHeartRadio app. Our feelings will not be hurt if you'd like to go listen to that. But stick around because we got Red Pill, Blue Pill coming up next. In the NBA last night, Lakers lose to the Nuggets 119-107. Nikola Jokic, 29 points in his return. Suns took down the Warriors 108-104. Devin Booker drops 32. UFC legend John Jones, he was slated to defend his heavyweight championship on November 11th. However, the fight is now off after John Jones injured his shoulder yesterday in training. And in the NFL, trade deadline just days away. Titans stars Derrick Henry and DeAndre Hopkins could be the two biggest names that move at the deadline. Check out what DraftKings has to offer this season with code SPORTS because life's more fun when you're in on the action. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Age and eligibility restrictions do apply. Void where prohibited. See DraftKings.com for details.
San Diego Sports 760, Big Rich, TD, and Fletch on a hump day. Getting you over the hump, though, in a quick way here. Mike, and we have chances for you to win $1,000 every single day. All you have to do is listen for the keyword and then take that keyword over to sportssd.com and enter it. It's presented by Loan Pronto. Stop paying insane rates on your credit cards. Loan Pronto can help you tap the equity in your home so you can be credit card debt-free in less than a week. LoanPronto.com. It's LoanPronto.com. And yesterday, Fletch, we pointed out the Nick Bosa Skims ad.
Yes.
Well, Jenna Bush Hager, who's on whatever morning show it is. I don't know. It's like Good Morning America, which is not that, but whichever one the other one is. You know what I'm talking about?
Nope.
She's with Oprah's best friend. Anyways.
The View.
No, not that one. She said that that the male models that Kim should have used should have had dad bods. They shouldn't have been perfect. There we go. The shirt's coming off. He's popping the top, ladies and gentlemen. You should wear Skims. Should we reach out to Kim Kardashian and ask if she wants us to model Skims? Look at you flexing away there. Do you think that people would buy Skims if we were the ones modeling the Skims?
I mean, I would.
Would you really? Would Kendall?
Oh, are they called Skims because Kim? Is Kim Kardashian involved with this?
Yeah, there's her line.
Mind blown.
You didn't know that was
No,
Kim
no idea.
Kardashian? Do you know how much that this company is worth now?
Probably $1 billion.
Over $4 billion. $4 billion. And now the man line here that that Nick Bosa was modeling, I think that's brand new. So look for this to be a $5 billion company shortly.
So, I don't care that she used like an insanely ripped dude to promote this because it makes sense. Like it's underwear. But what I care about is the fact that Nick Bosa is one of the most uncomfortable looking humans ever.
Why does he look uncomfortable?
I think it's his eyes. He has dead eyes. Like if you look at that picture, and Rich said it, you could watch it on TikTok. We posted a little clip about it, but Rich said it makes you feel wildly uncomfortable, and it has nothing to do with the fact that he's almost naked. It has everything to do with his eyes.
Oh, I thought it was from
like
the size of his junk.
Yeah,
just the fact that you look at the picture, you're like, oh yeah, it's a guy without a shirt on. And then you realize as you scroll down the web page you're on, you're like, and there's the rest of them.
Right.
Look into his eyes.
Hang on.
Yeah. I mean, they're a little dead. But I'm telling you right now, as the women are buying Skims for their men, they don't care about his eyes.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And also, sorry, ladies, but your man's not going to look like that.
Are you sure, though? What if we did? What if there was a before and after of us before Skims and after Skims, and after we were just
the
chiseled?
amount of cholesterol we would have to rub all over our body in order to look like that is absurd.
I'll try it.
Why you're automatic every time we talk about like a guy who's in insane shape? It's like steroids. I mean, maybe he just hit the gym real hard.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he did obviously in his life more push-ups than the three of us.
I'm a Nick Bosa fan.
Yeah.
And you guys have no allegiance to this, and I'm the only one that's saying he's probably on something.
No, I mean, I don't buy it necessarily. I'm not going to say for sure one way or the other that he is. I mean, maybe just drinks protein shakes. I mean, that's fine.
True. That could happen.
He's like 0% body fat, and he weighs like 260 pounds.
Sure, does some hamstring curls. Like just like anybody else would.
Anyways, I'm reaching out to Kim Kardashian and see if we can just do one ad.
Please,
one ad.
for the love of God, we will sell a lot of skims. We will sell a lot of skim. Let's play a little red pill, blue pill. The last one is going to be the
genre of instrumental music.
You know what? Honestly, give us something that's a little I don't know,
church music.
Actually, Billy Joel.
Oh yeah,
just play a little Joel underneath this.
Yeah, that works for me.
The last one is going to be the one that I have a feeling a lot of people are going to want to weigh in on. And this is, again, you got to pick one. You just got to stick with it for life. That's red pill, blue pill. So let's start here.
What song do you want?
Let's see. Only the Good Die Young. What is this?
Oh
no, this is fine.
All right,
this
is good. This is perfect. Yeah.
Okay. Red pill. You have to. It's actually perfect. Red pill. You have to watch Dancing with the Stars forever. Blue pill. You have to perform on Dancing with the Stars forever. This is 100% a Travis Dale creation.
I was watching Dancing with the Stars last night.
What do you think would have a worse effect on your life? I personally would. I'd rather be forced to watch it forever.
Yeah, I would go with watch it. There's no way I could perform forever.
I'm taking the red pill.
Well, however, if I did perform forever because I was performing so hard, I would. Such a difficult performance.
You probably look like Nick
athleticism. So, however I meant to put that, it would probably kill me.
You look just like Nick Bosa.
TD, a 15-second run around the cluster almost killed you.
That's what I'm saying. So performing on Dancing with the Stars forever might only be like 28 hours.
The only way I'm in on watching it forever is if Carlton from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is doing his thing every time.
No. Yeah.
What if it's the old host?
Tom Bergeron.
Yeah, Tom Bergeron.
Yeah.
The guy that did
Tom Bergeron
he did America's Funniest Home Videos, which I think Carlton does America's
Dude,
Funniest Home
they're
Videos
just he literally Carlton Banks is taking all the jobs that Tom Bergeron had.
I think I would watch Dancing with the Stars forever.
Yeah,
I've actually never watched an episode. Is it fun?
No. I mean, no.
No, I don't. Yeah.
Stars is very loose.
All right, next one up. Red pill, French fries for life. Only French fries for the rest of your life. Blue pill, only mashed potatoes.
This is
for the
tougher
rest
than
of your
you
life.
think if you really think.
Yeah,
really tough.
Yeah, I agree.
I will say this: French fries and their ubiquity, like you can eat them anywhere, doing anything. You could
and any style.
Yeah, like
because there's big differentials in French fries.
Yeah, like I love steak fries.
So do I.
Love steak fries, but then like
certain places, I like steak fries, but then I like waffle fries from Chick-fil-A.
Okay, or once in a while, the perfect crispy shoestring fry.
Fair play. Fair Play's fries were the perfect amount of crispy on the outside and the perfect amount of fluffy on the inside. It was almost like you were eating deep fried mashed potatoes.
They were rocket hot, though.
So
I remember when I first got them, I took a bite and I was like, I did that thing where you're just like, I'm going to choke this down, but I'm going to pay for it the entire way.
But here's the hang up. You're eating some meatloaf or maybe pot roast. You ain't eating it with a French fry.
Thanksgiving turkey gravy.
Oh my God.
You take the ladle and you make a little volcano out of the gravy and the mashed potatoes. What else can you do with mashed potatoes?
I'm going mashed potatoes. I'm going mashed potatoes for life.
Are they clumpy or are they smooth?
I don't even care.
No. Red pill me again. I'm going French fries for life.
Wow.
I think I am too. French fries.
Wow. I'm a mashed potato guy
More
for sure.
variety. You could have carne asada fries. If you told me I had to say goodbye to carne asada fries for the rest of my life, I'd be very sad.
But you could do carne asada mashed potatoes.
That actually sounds really
does
good.
Sound pretty good.
Golly.
Red pill, no ice ever again. Or blue pill, you have to drink every beer for the rest of your life with ice.
Blue pill and it's not close. I don't think I could live without ice.
No, I can. I can. Dude, red pill me again.
Wow.
Throw the ice out the window. You're telling me I have to drink beer with ice in it for the rest of my life? That ruins beer.
Do you not just sit at home and like crunch ice?
No.
Oh,
Are you
by the way,
anemic?
Get your iron checked.
Yeah.
That is a telltale sign that you are low on iron.
I've done it since I was like 4 years old.
That's bad for
5
you,
years
man.
old.
That's bad for you.
Gerald
We ran
from
out of
T.
Billy Joel. Give us some Sting or something.
How about this? Red pill, Bob Melvin. Blue pill, AJ Preller.
Ooh. I'd go Bomel. Forever. I mean, forever. It never changes. Does he age?
They stay locked in their current state forever.
I mean, somehow his hair never changed colors.
That's a good point.
And it was jet black.
I have a feeling he's using the same shampoo I am.
Give me Bobel again. Not even close.
I think so.
Yeah.
I've been red pill the whole time. I will watch Dancing
Wow.
with the Stars instead of performing it. I will only eat French fries over mashed potatoes. No ice ever again over ice in my beer, and give me Bob Melvin all day long over AJ
Ice
Preller.
in beer is awful.
That sounds
It's
like a
terrible.
You have to drink it fast so it doesn't dilute it.
Yeah, but even still, can you imagine? It's like drinking milk with ice.
I like milk with ice.
I love milk with
Jesus.
ice.
All right, we gotta go. We've
Wait,
run out of time.
What's wrong with milk with ice?
What? It's almost sacrilegious. Who
do you
would
ever
do that?
Do you ever scoop ice cream and just pour a little bit of milk on top?
Oh yeah, I've
Yeah.
done that.
Time.
No, that's
Okay.
I've
It
made
gets a little icy.
hand stirred.
Yes.
What do you call it? Milkshakes?
Oh God.
Fill up a glass of milk. 2
Why do
scoops
we
ice
do
cream.
this to
I don't
ourselves
know.
every
I
single
don't know.
morning?
There was another break that
Yeah,
Fletch was
Rich.
talking about hot Cheeto dust on Kraft mac and cheese, and like, what the hell are you doing?
Why do we do this to each other?
It's fine.
We today almost went out and got a pizza from 7-Eleven.
Hey,
we
but
talked it down. We talked
we
it down.
We didn't do it.
Yeah.
We did not do it because we're committed to weight loss.
That's
I'm about to be in
correct.
the 220s, man. I'm not effing this up.
That's exactly
that's
what he
crazy.
said. That
Yeah,
was his
that
argument
was-
for
that
it.
was
I'll be
the
honest with you. Me and Travis were trying to peer pressure him because we really
no one
wanted.
will know. No one would know.
Don't you tell anyone. I'll kill you. The NBA season is about to tip off. Or excuse me, it already has. The
Last
NBA
night?
season tipped off last night. As a matter of fact, the Lakers lost. So once again, there is no easier way to get in on the action than Underdog Fantasy and their pick'em game. It's fantasy football or basketball or college football or golf, but you can win real money. Pick between 2 or 5 players. Select whether they'll go higher or lower on their stats. And then just watch the games. You can win up to 20 times your money in a single game by going 5 for 5. Legal in California. Ton of fun to play. I do this all the time. I did it with the NLCS game last night. Works for baseball too. I had Bryce Harper over half a total base. I mean, it's fun, man. Any sport you could think of, they have availability for you to play these pick'em games. And like I said, these entries, if you have up to 5 players, you can win 20 times your cash. Go to their easy-to-use mobile app or head to UnderdogFantasy.com. Sign up with promo code XTRA, and Underdog will double your first deposit up to $500, but for a limited time only. Plus, new customers will have a mystery special pick live in their pick'em lobby. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code XTRA. You get your first deposit of $10 or more doubled up to $500 with that special pick. Must be 18 plus and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. Coming up next, part of the reason why we're losing weight is to look better. The other part is we're all going to be models.
We also got the funniest text ever that we can read on the
Yeah,
other side.
we have an additional red pill, blue pill from the
And
858.
it is agonizing.
Yeah.
Okay, hang on a second. Hang on. Let me look where
It's
oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That text coming up next.
We got a lot left to get to here. NBA season has tipped off. Lakers, they did lose, but man, they look good. And we have a very, very important text that we have to get to from the 858, a leftover red pill, blue pill. We know what Fletch is picking. Coming up next. Big Rich Eating Fletch, San Diego Sports 760.
Oof. God, TD's a good singer.
So good.
He can do
I
it.
should bring a guitar on Friday
Yeah.
and sing a song.
Glad
You're
you
supposed
remembered.
to do that last Friday.
Yeah, listen. Thursday was a tricky night. Okay, Thursday we were sipping on some Bacta spirits.
Oh my God, we were hammered
Yes.
on Thursday.
Yes,
I feel like I didn't drink that much to be that hammered.
you were hammered
I was
the most.
so hammered.
You were hammered like you were the most of the hammered.
Well, it's because Jay started pouring me like straight whiskey.
Oh, dude. Well, yeah, he made me. I don't even know what he made.
Jay
me.
at K&B Bistro,
Yeah.
by the way.
K&B Bistro, Del Cerro location. They host a lot of these spirits nights. Like this one was a bourbon and steak pairing. We had been to one before this, but Bacta had whiskeys that they were showcasing. And then head chef Tim was there. He
Chef
cooked.
Tim.
Dude,
Love that guy.
You want to talk
Good
about
Lord.
some food now.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Get yourself out to K&B Bistro. Okay. Red pill. This is from a texter from the 858.
Mhm.
Red pill. You have to watch a full-length porn movie with your parents. Blue pill. You have to watch a full-length porn movie starring your parents. So if you had to choose one, you either sit down and you go, Mom, Dad, this is one of my favorites. Her name's Lisa Ann, and I think you're going to enjoy her work. I'm really, Mom, don't be offended, really into the MILF category. Dad, you're going to be searching a lot of Lisa after this is over with.
Or you're watching it starring your parents just by yourself.
Yeah, by yourself. You're alone in your room, but you're watching, in your case, Keith and Angela Fletcher.
Why would
I mean, just absolutely.
Please stop.
Pound Town.
Please stop.
Okay, or
Use TD's parents.
wait,
hold on.
And Jason Owendale. What's your dad's name again?
Rod.
Rod. Hot Rod Dale, starring in his very own Or it could be Patio and Dicko, the Ornbergers do Denver. The point I'm trying to make is
I don't know the answer here.
1000% for me, it is just go ahead and watch my parents. There's no doubt because guess what? Nobody knows except for me. And I've lived through a lot already. I think I can withstand 30 minutes. Hopefully, it's much less than that.
But do you feel like you're going to need therapy after that? Like you've seen a horrible car wreck?
I need therapy right now just talking about it.
Listen, I think I would go blue pill with Rich. I think I would watch it alone.
Yeah.
Then I mean a 90-minute, 2-hour just jaunt with your parents.
Do you have any idea?
You're both disgusting.
No. Okay, hang on a second.
No, because it's in total anonymity.
Yeah.
Nobody knows.
Yeah. You guess what? That's part of being a man. You do things and you don't say a word.
Exactly.
Like,
you take those feelings and you bury them down.
That's
deep
right.
down.
So what? One time you killed a hitchhiker. One time. Okay? You were born. It was Durham, North Carolina. It was the 80s. Nobody knows.
Sometimes you got to get your hands dirty. Okay?
Right.
For the
thrills.
better good.
Yeah, God.
Of society. Anyways, so you are sitting down with your parents and are you doing the popcorn bucket thing with them?
Mom, Dad, this is Lana Rhodes. She...
Who's that now?
Okay, hold on.
Mom,
Hold
So
on.
real quick.
This is a little film I like to call Backdoor Bob.
Oh God!
You ever hear Beaumont? Anyways, look.
You guys ever seen a movie called Best Little Whorehouse in Texas?
No, wait, is this one you watched as a kid?
With my parents.
Okay, wait a second.
Hold on.
So it's
Wait.
starring Dolly Parton and Burt Reynolds, but it's basically a like hour-and-a-half musical porno. And I was like 12 years old, and my mom made me watch that. So I've already done Red Pill. So give me Red Pill again.
Wow. So you're gonna sit down with Keith and Angela.
You imagine though?
Okay.
I mean, you're talking about full hardcore sitting next to Keith and Angela,
Dude,
just watching it. I mean,
I would rather bite that bullet
Well,
than
hang on.
bite the bullet of watching.
think how close we are to the holidays. Like, you're gonna have this situation happen. So, I mean, if we're doing the red pill or blue pill, it's
By the
happening
way, if you're
today.
driving around with your kids right now, I'm so sorry.
No, dude.
yeah.
I mean,
And if you are,
They
ask
gonna
them
learn
if they'd like
today.
to sit down and watch a movie. Good God.
No, this is an awful one.
I want to puke.
Which sicko sent this to us? Which texter? I'm gonna try to remember his number. So, like when
you can ingrain that into all of time.
yeah,
Wow.
this might
Lakers.
go up in the wall in our office.
Okay, read text number 3, not out loud.
All right, hang on. Let's start.
From the
I gotta
913.
refresh.
Great show, guys.
No, that's the not out loud.
You can't say that word.
Yeah, it was 3 hours straight. I was actually using the restroom in the break, and as I was standing there,
Yeah.
the door opens, and all I get told is that back door Dale? And I was like, I will have to pee standing the other direction now.
Also, I
You know
know.
what? The whole backdoor thing made today's show better. I'm glad I said it.
Well, dude, yeah, you nailed it. Like everything that goes through the Fletcher filter, like we absolutely have to double check.
The 913, did you see the Beatles set to drop a final single? No, I have to look this up.
Wait a second.
Appreciate
How's
that,
going?
man.
How?
John's gone.
Well, I don't
George
know.
is gone.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh.
They probably got one tucked away in the archives, like Tupac has like 7,000 songs.
That's a good point. Yeah, Tupac. He's been cutting singles for a long time. I love how as you're flipping around different tabs you have open, it's just
Naked Nick Bosa.
it's Nick Bosa
Yeah.
wearing Skims, and it's the screen is lowered down to just.
I don't want to look at his eyes. I just want to see him from the shoulders down.
If you missed the Kevin AC interview, it was a really good one. He dropped a couple bombs in there. It's on the free iHeartRadio app right now. It's also on our Twitter account, our X account at BigRichTDFletch. Go click the link.
Did you see LeBron's game day outfit?
Oh wow! Yeah,
All Louis Vuitton.
he's wearing 3 bags.
Yeah, 3 bags. Cost him $28,000 for that. He looks like I don't know if he's going to a futuristic Armenian wedding.
You guys ready to really puke?
Yeah.
My mother is listening to the show right now
Mm.
with her parents.
Oh, good.
Hey, and she was like, "I did that when I was a kid too."
And she's like blue pill. Anyways, thank you for everyone who listens to this show. The herd is next.
Love you, Angela.
We love you, Angela.
I'm sorry, Mom.